All right, here we go, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural PWCC Sports Cards Live Premier Auction. This is the Sports Cards Live PWCC Auction Watch Party for their inaugural Premier Auction. And I'm very happy to have with me Adam Gray right over there. He's going to join me, and we are going to be going through the amazing lots that are available on the auction tonight. There are 139 lots, and we got a bit of a plan. So we are going to go through that. Before we do, Adam, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing super great. It's only been a few days since you and I got to hang out last, and that was so much fun that I'm just thrilled to do it again. Seriously, I'm excited. It's going to be great.
It's going to be fun, man. Yeah, we had a good time. You were on After Hours with me on Saturday night. For anyone who's joining, if you are new to Sports Cards Live, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. Please go ahead, give us a subscribe on the YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate that. And we've got about 130 or so episodes. They all live on the YouTube channel. Please feel free to check them out. Pick up the ones you want to watch and give them a watch, give them a listen, even listen to them in high speed. So, because they're long. These episodes can be long. So here's how we're going to do this tonight. And I do want to welcome everybody to the show. We have on tap we're going to be sharing the monitor, and we have on tap several auctions that we're going to be focusing on, but we're also going to be focusing on the premier auction itself. And we're going to kind of be looking at what's going on, what cards are available. And as the bids are coming in, we're going to be refreshing and looking to see where there's action. Okay. There's a few matchups as well that I've identified with the help of the fellas over at Slab Stocks. They had a video that came out a few days ago on their YouTube channel. And Aaron and Nate from Slab Stocks, they came up with a couple of matchups. So we're going to address those and see how things work out for what they deem to be interesting cards to compare. But there's going to be more than just that. We have a lot of situations where you might have two similar cards, a Mickey Mantle versus a Willie Mays 51 Bowman, or you've got the Topps PSA 9 Wayne Gretzky versus the O-Pee-Chee PSA 9 Wayne Gretzky. It's going to be interesting to see how certain players do versus each other, as well as how certain brands of the same card do versus each other, as well as certain grades will do versus each other, a BGS 10 versus a PSA 10. So that's kind of how we're going to go through this and look at various things that way. Adam, anything from you before we kind of have a look at the auction itself?
Well, before we get too serious, I want to tell everyone that when I asked Jeremy what I could do to get ready for this, he said, your wall last time was way too blank. You need to put something up behind you. We just redid our basement. So I've got these brand new walls. They don't have anything on them. I'm sitting at my desk, think I'm doing a good job. And Jeremy's like, you need to put something on your wall. So 2 seconds before this episode started, I took a couple of issues of Basketball Card Fanatic, and I pulled them partway out of the sleeve that they're in and slapped them up behind me. And that's just because Jeremy told me to do it. So if they fall during this, it will be hilarious. I think there's about a 50% chance that one of them will fall. So,
well, people can lay wagers if they want on that. That's pretty funny. Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I'm like super excited for this. As we talked about on After Hours, there's not a lot of there's not a giant number of lots, and so we get to focus in on a lot of them. We can talk about, if we really wanted to, Jeremy, I think we could talk about all 139 or 136. We could talk about all of them if we wanted to, and in every case it's a significant item, because every item that's ending is they're all supposed to be in the tens of thousands of dollars. So the thing that I want to point out really before we get started is, if there's something in this lot or in this auction that you want to bid on and you haven't bidded using extended bidding options before, what you might not know is you actually have to place a bid before extended bidding if you want to then continue to place bids after extended bidding begins. That's a lot of people don't know that, and especially if you go back in time about a year, almost none of us knew that, because very few of us had experience with the big auction houses. So in the next 24 minutes, you really have to go put your initial bids in if you're going to. And if you haven't registered to this point, I think you're kind of out of luck. Is that your understanding too, Jeremy?
I would think so. I mean, you basically need to be vetted by PWCC to be able to bid from a proof of funds perspective. And yeah, you're right. If you don't have a bid in on an item by 7 o'clock Pacific, you will not be eligible to bid in the extended period of time. So let's explain how that works. Extended bidding begins at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. And for the first hour, every time a bid is placed after 7 o'clock Pacific, the timer will reset for 15 minutes, meaning that if there's no bid placed at all on the auction for those 15 minutes, the auction will end and everything will be final. Once 8 o'clock Pacific hits 11 o'clock Eastern, the first bid that is placed after that time, the extended bidding timer will reset to 5 minutes, which is really nice for us because maybe that means that the bidding will happen quicker and we won't have to sit here for hours and hours, but time will tell. We'll see. This is the first auction of its kind, so it's going to be very interesting. But again, once the first bid is placed after 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern, the extended bidding the timer will reset for 5 minutes. And as soon as there's a bid placed, it'll keep on resetting. So we'll be watching that clock. And throughout, we'll be talking about certain lots and refreshing the page and making sure that it is going to be interesting to see how we can keep track of what bids are happening and when. But hopefully, we'll get a good gauge on that. Go ahead, Adam.
So I think just to clarify, extended bidding for most of these auction houses have two major forms. The first is that the extended bidding happens per lot. That means if there's a bid given, or if there's a bid made in the 15-minute increment, then it goes to another 15 minutes. The other option is that the whole auction goes into extended bidding as long as there's a bid amongst all items. It's my understanding, but I'm not 100% sure on this, and I really should be 100% sure. So maybe you can clarify.
It's the whole auction.
It's the whole auction, right? Yeah,
that's it. One bid resets the whole auction.
And so what's cool, like some people would say, "Oh, I don't like that." Like, and I get why they don't like it because theoretically it could go for a long, long time. Except for, like you pointed out, like the 5-minute rule after. I think you said it's after 8 p.m. That really mitigates that. But I really like it because once it's over, it's over. It's done. And everybody knows, okay, that's the ending price. Whereas with some of the other formats, which I think some people really prefer, you then, you watch it and some are ending at sometimes and some are ending at another time. And so when we're done, which probably after we'll be off, I would guess.
Well, we'll see. But once it's over, once there's no bids for any 5-minute period after 8 o'clock, the whole auction ends and we will know whether we are live or not. We will know what everything ended at. Hopefully it's going to happen where we are still awake and we are streaming live so we can go through and kind of review how these auctions ended. Okay, we're going to just say hello to some of the people that we have who've joined us. Great to see you all. Great viewership already. Hopefully we have a bunch of people from PWCC watching as well. I want to welcome you guys to the show, all the PWCC personnel that may be watching. Good evening to you, and I wish you all the best with this inaugural premier auction for yourselves. So we got Brandon Metalberg with us. Good evening, Brandon. Trevor West, hello to you. Glad you're excited. And before I continue, I want to let you guys know, if you have cards in this auction that are being sold by PWCC for you tonight, let us know what they are. Mention them. We'll keep tabs on them. If you're bidding on cards on this auction and you want to let people know, put it out there. We'll watch those cards for you as well. Dennis Lescombe Sr., good evening to you. We got Hockey Card Investor, boogity boogity, let's do this. You betcha. Rocco Rosado is here. Good evening to you. Daniel, my man, good evening. Yes, Jonathan Tavares was hurt tonight. Hopefully he's okay. Sanderson to Oregon. We got David Owens in the house. Good evening, David. Gia Moz, Chad Shipper, hello to you. Glad to have you here live. Matthew Greeny, your orange bets is giving you an ulcer. We have that one on the list. Hockey Card Investor. I'm not likely bidding on any cards tonight, but I did pull out a few cards that I own that are in the auction, either the same card in grade or maybe one grade point lower, but I did bring them out just to show them. We got Michael Hammond. Good evening, Michael. George Buss. Matthew Greeny was under the impression it was for singular lots. Again, we've explained that. We got Name Notes. Good evening, Doug Brenner. Appreciate you being here, Doug. Thank you very much. Yeah, this will be a lot of fun tonight. Matthew says you have the 2014 Bowman Chrome Mookie Betts Orange Refractive Auto Gem. Yes, we do have that one on tap to look at tonight, but we can look at whatever you guys want. So if there's a card you want, we haven't looked at it, just put it in the comments. Hopefully we'll see it and we'll be able to address it. Johnny Atenko, good evening to you. Rounding the corners is here is Darren. Good evening. What is up? This is what is up tonight. Santi Bond, good evening to you. And Card Shop Dad, what is up, our man? Okay, Adam, let's take a look at the auction itself. So I'm going to pull it up right now. Here we go. We're going to actually start on this tab over here. So this is the main page of the auction, and it's sorted right now by featured items. So I believe what PWCC means by this is that the first page would be the premier items, because we can keep on scrolling through the various, you'll see down here, through these various numbers to get to the final auction, the final lot in the auction. Again, this is a manageable auction. It's manageable for Adam and myself tonight. I got to think it's manageable for PWCC because it's 139 lots. So that's I do a live stream when they end their hockey auctions on eBay once a month. We've had 3 episodes of that, and there's hundreds and hundreds of lots. It's a lot more challenging to run through those than it will be this. And they end so close together. So this should be fun. But so here we have the main page, the featured items page. And I want to also show you what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this sorted by oldest first. It just makes the most sense to me in terms of being able to jump from one to the other. So you see we have T206s, a couple of Jackie Robinsons, a beautiful Babe Ruth, among many, many more. So before the extended bidding starts, which again is in 15 minutes, if you are planning to bid and you don't have a bid in yet, you need to get your first bid in the next 15 minutes. So be sure, or I guess it's going to be in the next 17 minutes and 12 seconds in accordance with their clock right here. But let's have a look at what we have on tap to look at. Adam, you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. So this first window is going to be, it's going to be the matchups that I saw from the Slab Stocks video, as well as a few key cards that we want to look at. So the first matchup is this one here. This is what card is going to sell for the most of all the cards in this auction. And Aaron from Slab Stocks, he determined that it would come down to the 2003 exquisite LeBron James with a BGS 9.5 with a crazy patch, or the 96 Skybox Credentials Kobe Bryant out of 499 and a PSA 10. And you can see this is currently at $260,000, and the LeBron is at $360. So far LeBron is ahead. I also want to point out, before we get too far into this, that the bidding platform here, to me, it's really nice. You click on here, it gives you your options. You click on it. Now, I haven't made a bid, so I don't know what comes next, but you can either bid the next incremental or your maximum bid. Similar to eBay, you'll set a proxy and you're off to the races. So, and let's also point out the 360-degree feature that they have. This is pretty important. So if you click on this icon down here, you can actually grab the card and tilt it up, down, side to side. And the reason I really like this is cards that have foil, you can see the light bounce off the foil. And you can also have a look at the edges, which is really hard to do in any real scan, flat scan auction like you would normally see on eBay. So you can actually get a look at the edges. So kudos to PWCC for this technology. I think it's and you also get to look, you can see the slab. You can see what condition the slab is in as well. But I love it for the foil, like right there. Okay, but we're going to stick on these just from a bandwidth perspective. So that's the first matchup, the LeBron versus the Kobe for most expensive. The next one, in terms of soccer cards, we've got this 2002 Panini Cristiano Ronaldo, BGS 10 pristine, population 1 of 13. I mean, that's a big card, $35,000 right now, versus the 2019 Topps Chrome Erling Haaland rookie out of 25 and a PSA 10 at 22.5. So let's see which soccer card pulls away selling for the most tonight.
Are you a soccer guy, Jeremy?
I mean, I played as a kid. No, I own one soccer card that I bought from PWCC probably back in June of last year. It's an Mbappe gold sticker. But that's the extent of my soccer. How about you?
I didn't think you were, because I think that guy's name is Holland, and you called him Haaland or something like that. But actually, I don't really know either. So I might be making a fool of myself. I'm not a soccer guy. I served a mission in England, and in England, soccer, or what they call football, is life over there. They just love football more than anything. And so, seeing the soccer stuff just take off has been awesome, but I don't know who any of those guys are, to be honest.
Well, that's okay. We don't need to know who they are. We are cardboard nerds. We like to watch cardboard and see what happens in it and monitor the hobby. So we will do that. We're even going to be watching a Charizard tonight. So if not two of them. Let's keep on moving along. So here we have these are the slab stocks matchups. There's about 4 or 5 of them that I selected. We got the 2009 Bowman Chrome Orange Refractor Mike Trout, BGS 9, 25 copies only, authenticated by Beckett Authentication Services. And here we have that card right now at $47,500 versus the Mookie Betts Bowman Chrome Orange Refractor. Same card from different set, same card, different year, different player. They both not, yeah. So the grade is a little bit different in terms of the 9-10 auto here and the 9-5-10 auto in this one, but still, as I understand it, these guys are 1-2 in baseball right now. No disrespect to Tatis and Acuna and all the other superstars in Major League Baseball, but let's see which card there sells for more. It looks like Trout is definitely leading the way at this time. Doesn't surprise me. Next up, we have the Tatis Jr. rookie, again, the Bowman Chrome out of 25, PSA 10 with a 10 auto versus the Ronald Acuna. Also, this is a BGS 10 with a 10 autograph out of 25, 50,000 on the Acuna and 55 on the Tatis. So we have a tight race here. Let's see by the end of the night which one goes for more money. And then finally, we have a couple of, are these both LeBron James? Let's see, the 2004 Finest Gold X-Fractor LeBron out of 5, super rare card, BGS 10. I mean, and it's a population 1 of 2. I mean, there's only 5 copies and two of them graded out a BGS pristine 10. Looks like the printing process was very good, on point that year, versus the 2004 Topps Chrome Gold LeBron James Refractor out of 99 and the BGS 9.5. So we're at $25,000 here and $27,500 here. So, let's see how these do. We have a rare card versus a more mainstream card with an amazing image on it. Curious to see which card sells for more, and we're in a tight race right now. Other important cards that we're going to be watching. We have the 2000 playoff contenders Tom Brady in a BGS 9.5 with a 10 autograph. I mean, look at this, $220,000. An amazing card. We'll see how this one does. We also have what might be some of our favorite cards in the auction, the PMG Red, the Precious Metal Gems, 97 Metal Universe, Kobe Bryant in an authentic altered holder. And as we've seen in the past, these cards, even if they're in authentic altered holders, doesn't really matter. They are still highly desirable, and $42,500 tells us that right there. I will let y'all know I refreshed these. All these auctions were refreshed about 25 minutes ago, so some of these amounts might be behind. We also have the 2012 National Treasures Kobe Bryant Logo Man out of 5 in a BGS 9 holder with a 10 autograph, an amazing card. And my understanding is that there's something very special about this Logo Man itself. I believe it was used in a special game. I'm not exactly sure those details, but a very cool card. And finally, the 2013 Panini Prism Gold Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's only 10 copies made, BGS 9.5 with a 10 auto, current bid $50,000. So these are kind of some of the highlight cards and matchups that we're going to be watching. Adam, thank you for being patient. Let's have a look at some of the comments that have come in. We have 9 minutes until extended bidding kicks in. Everybody, be sure if you are bidding, you get that first bid in within the next 9 minutes. David Owens makes a comment that there's a lot of people on planes on the way to the Dallas show. Interesting to see what impact that may or may not have. Time will tell. I think people that are serious about buying serious cards maybe have people bidding for them or already have their bids in proxy. Could be the case. Dr. Full, he's trying for the 52 mantle. I have a 4 and a 6, and I think a 5 would fit nice in between them. Well, good luck to you. It sure would. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you. Sanderson needs to borrow some money. Dr. Full says, I like that feature to make sure the case has no scratches. Yes, I agree with you on that. And I'm just going to show you guys this in case you haven't seen me show this particular product before. I use this stuff right here, Meguiar's Scratch X 2.0. You put a little bit on the slab, you rub it with some paper towel, and it cleans up your slab. I did that today on a slab that I recently received that had some blemishes. So check that out. We'll show it one more time. Meguiar's Scratch X 2.0 will clean your slabs up pretty nicely, actually. Okay, back to the comments we have here. Darren says, "Dang, don't click it, scaring me."
Yeah,
on the card.
He's talking about like how you almost clicked on a bid for $400,000. But I don't want to say this for sure, but I'm like 99% that when you actually go to bid and you hit that number and you hit submit, you actually get another screen. And the reason that I'm so sure on this is I bid on a couple of the Kobe's, including the PMG Red. And when I bid on it, I remember specifically seeing the after buyer's premium price. And I think that's really important because, you know, as we've already talked about, like it kind of, if you don't know that you're bidding and the buyer's premium's there, it's a little bit deceptive. So yeah, it's good that actually happens.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Adam. Great point. Okay, Play Bike Frisbee, welcome to the show. Don't forget the Messy 9.5. Okay, remind us a little bit later. We will take a look at that. Corey Donovan in the house, good evening to you. Darren says, I've really gotten into soccer this year. Not much knowledge, but a lot of hype around the American playing for Chelsea. Christian Pulisic, very nice. Hockey Card Investor says, the Shaq PMG ending tomorrow night on PWCC is going to be hot. Yes, I know, man. I think it's a PSA 5. And I own a copy of that card, so I'm watching it very intently. Dr. Full says, thank you, PWCC. I'll be sleeping on the couch tomorrow night. Yeah, the wife might not be too pleased with some of us here in the room tonight. David Owen says, the Trout Orange is not pack pulled, it's in person. Interesting to know. Thank you for that. Chad Shipper, anyone want to buy my house so I can pick up a few cards tonight? And Dr. Full's been using toothpaste. I'll show it one more time. Scratch X 2.0, Meguiar's Scratch X 2.0. If you need to go back, you can always rewind and check that out later. Good evening to you, Sports Card 613, Landon Bailey. It takes you to Landon Bailey is from PWCC, says it takes you to another screen that shows you the buyer's premium. There we go. Thank you for that, Landon. Very informative. And anonymous Facebook user says, good evening. Most interested in the Gretzky, of course, as a hockey guy. Thanks for the Scratch X suggestion. Wonder how the buyers feel about the repeating 15-minute window. Well, it's pretty standard in online auctions, but it's only for the first hour and then it's 5 minutes. So I think people who are used to buying in auctions are somewhat conditioned to these resetting clocks. Okay, let's go back to here. So now I want to show you guys all these other windows that I've prepared. So a few cards that we're going to be kind of looking at. Here we have the 1933 Gaudi Babe Ruth, the number 53, which is, in my opinion, the nicest of the 4 Babes from the product. And I've also pulled up Card Ladder, because Card Ladder is going to show us. Now, unfortunately, Card Ladder doesn't have a SGC 6 in their database, but they do have a PSA 5. I thought that would be hopefully comparable. So I thought it would be a nice way to kind of look and see what the card is at in terms of the current bid and what the history of the card would be. By scrolling here, we can sort of see where this card has sold, at what price and on what date. So I'm looking forward to doing that with everybody. And we can set this up for other cards. We also have the PSA 6 Jackie Robinson ready to go as well with the Card Ladder, which does have it in the PSA 6, because I pulled that up because I happen to own a copy of that card myself in the PSA 6, one of my favorite cards in my personal collection. So I'll be watching this one very closely with the rest of you. The next card that we're going to be looking at this way is the Mickey Mantle. I love this card, the True Rookie, the 51 Bowman. This is a PSA 7. I'm watching closely. I personally own a card in a PSA 6 that I bought back in probably 2008. So I'm going to be watching this one intently to see what the 7 sells for. And again, here's Card Ladder does have some data on a 7, and they've got several sales in the database. Of course, you can see that since September 2020, the card has really risen in value, or at least we have 2 much higher data points. So we will follow along with this card intermittently throughout the evening. We also are going to look at the Willie Mays. We're going to look at the Wilt Chamberlain PSA 8. Again, Card Ladder has data on that. It says the current value is $48,000. And this is at 37.5. So let's see how close that is. I think that'll be interesting to do. We've got both Wayne Gretzky's. Of course, hockey's my first love in terms of collecting. I do collect everything. But we're going to watch the O-Pee-Chee PSA 9. Currently, I'm going to refresh this and see if it's had any bids since I last refreshed. Still at $180,000. And Card Ladder says the current value is $240. And because we've seen several sales in that $200,000 to $260,000, $70,000 range, all since January of this year, with one down here at $140. So let's see where that card sells versus all of those historical sales. There's also a Topps version of this card selling tonight, currently at $50,000. We'll do a quick refresh. I own a copy of this card, so I'm very interested to see how it does. And of course, Card Ladder has several sales of this card, and you can see it's kind of come down. There's a data point here on May the 5th, not too long ago, much lower. But what's something that's really important, I think that everybody needs to understand, is that not all PSA 9s are the same. Not all PSA 8s are the same. And I'm sure people watching this are sophisticated, this, but I want to say it again anyway. It's just important to realize that it's normal for there to be wide range of sale prices for the same cards in the same grade over time, even close in time, because some just present much nicer than others. Aside from the Gretzky's, we're going to watch a Michael Jordan in a BGS 9.5 with a Mike Baker, I think it's Michael Baker authenticated gold sticker on it, basically meaning strong for the grade. And we're going to compare that to the PSA 10 Michael Jordan rookie, which is at $380. Let's have a refresh on this before we get into extended bidding, which is going to be in about 2 minutes. $380,000 still. And we will see. Card Ladder says current value $336. So 3.8, we've seen the last several data points, or some of them are under what this card is already at. So it looks like PWCC is already producing a sell price that is higher than what some recent auctions have produced for this card. We're going to watch this Kobe Bryant refractor with coating PSA 10, a card that I think is just stunning to look at. We have the credentials again right there with the Card Ladder comparison. We have the Topps Chrome refractor and a BGS 9.5 Kobe Bryant rookie. We have let's watch the Charizard. There's been a lot of attention on the Charizard PSA 10, the shadowless hollow. And here we have a version of it, or a copy of it, at $200,000. Let's see if there's been any bids as we are about to get into extended bidding. Looks like no bids yet. I just want to see what this updates to and see how far we are away from extended bidding right now. While that updates, we'll just go to the next card. We have I love this card, the SP Authentic LeBron James. 56 seconds until extended bidding, everybody. 56 seconds. And at that point, only people who have bid are still eligible to bid. This card is at $70,000 currently before extended bidding, and Card Ladder tells us that the current value is $80,000, which is based on a data point, a copy that sold on May the 2nd of this year. So let's see what extended bidding does on this particular card. And then we have what is a huge card in the auction, the 2009 National Treasures Steph Curry rookie, BGS 9.5. It looks like it's a Gem Mint Plus, 395 subs with surface as a 10. And I believe the auto's a 10 as well. Yes, it is. Number 62 of 99. What a great card. $200,000. Extended bidding starts in 5 seconds, everybody. 5 seconds till extended bidding kicks in. Okay. Those are the auctions, everybody, that I've kind of preloaded, ready to go. But it's easy enough to look at any other card that anybody's interested in, as long as we do manage to see the comment. Adam, I've been talking for a while. I'm going to have a sip of my water. What are your thoughts and comments so far, as extended bidding is officially live right now?
Well, I had a hard time not jumping in on you because you talked about like 20 different cards that I wanted to say stuff about. So, hopefully viewers will be patient with us as we try to figure out like how to have the right amount of back and forth, and like how how to go through the auctions. It's there's not exactly a manual on like how to have like a live auction party. But like, I think part of it that's interesting is we each have our own personal biases, right? So you're really interested in the Jackie and the Mantle, and probably my guess is I didn't hear you say, but you probably have an OPG Gretzky, right?
Not in a PSA 9. I have this card here. This is the Topps in a 9, which I bought from PWCC a few years ago for much less than the one's going to sell for tonight. I do have an OPG version, but it's a PSA. I only have my best copy is a PSA 8, and they're selling the 9 tonight.
An 8 though, I mean, that's just a huge card. And as you know, when you have a new comp on it, even on a different grade, you can kind of extrapolate that across grades. And so, you're interested in a lot of these things because you have cards that are really similar. I actually don't have anything in this auction where I'm like, wow, that will provide me a really good comp for something that I own. So, from that perspective, I have less that's interesting to me, but there's some really interesting cards up. You mentioned that gold X-Fractor LeBron, I think it's 2004 finest refractor. That's a 5, number to 5. And it's a BGS 10. Like that sort of card just doesn't pop up ever. And this, along with the Topps Chrome X-Fractor, you're comparing the guys at Slab Stocks are comparing this with the gold Chrome refractor. I'm not as interested in the gold Chrome refractor as I am the X-Fractor at a Chrome that's to 10. Both that card and this card are cards that you just never see at public auction. And so, we have a couple things happening. We have like the fact that we haven't seen a lot of these things sold in a long time. It's really interesting. We also have the fact that like this is a new thing for PWCC, right? An auction away from eBay. That's a component. And then the third component is, we all know that the market has really taken a hit over the course of the last couple of months. And so all of these things combined will yield a certain price on all of these. And then, in the middle of all that is how many people are actually interested in each of the individual cards. And so for me, I just I know you can't probably you probably can't pull apart the variables in the end and understand why something sold for as much or as little as it did. But what you can do is you can watch like we're doing right now and just sort of guess and compare and get excited. And I'm super excited to see what, especially the basketball stuff. Like, I'm just really excited to see what it does.
Same here, Matt. I'm sorry I was going so fast. I wanted to speak to every window that I sort of had preloaded before we got into extended bidding. I just did show the rookie contenders ticket for Jay Mollico, who said, "Where is the Brady Contenders love?" There it is, Jay Mollico 21. Thank you for joining the show tonight. A couple other comments that have come in. He gave a smile when he saw me put it up. There you go. Dr. Full says, "I agree. I got my PSA 6 mantle for less than this 5. I mean, that's where we're at. It's funny. Adam just made the comment that the market has taken a hit lately. The market it all depends on what's your starting point. If your starting point is the high mark, which was, right around February of this year, then yes, the market has softened a little bit. People have put a lot of money into cards early in 2021. But if your starting point is a year ago, which I think is a really a better approach to looking at the trajectory of the values of cards over time. If you look at, the smaller, the narrower the time horizon that you're comparing, I mean, you're going to see these drastic changes. But if you smooth that curve over time, which is the way I prefer to look at my sports card holdings, we should all, if you've been holding cards for over a year, I think we're all pretty pleased with where things are at. And we should also, I think, be somewhat pleased that it's not just constantly to the moon, because that is unsustainable. And if you watched my show, Sports Cards Live, earlier right through the first 3-4 months of this year, something I've been stating over and over again is, when we were talking about what does the future of the hobby hold, I've stated over and over again that I think that cards are permanently more valuable than they were before, but the rate of growth is not sustainable. The rate of growth, that is not the values. The values, I believe, are sustainable with ebbs and flows, like any market will have. but the rate of growth was not sustainable, and that's just been proven to be true now.
Can I mention a couple others that I'm looking at that I think are interesting?
Yeah, please do. And let me, if you could go in chronological order, I can bring them up and we can have a look at them.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll, I'm just like scrolling through the, through the listing. But I'll tell you just a few that stand out to me. One is, there's two different cards from 2004 Exquisite that are really interesting. 2004 Exquisite, as I talked to Carvin about in Basketball Card Fanatic this month, is like, for a lot of people, just really like the set. They had to improve on 2003 Exquisite without having the draft class of LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade. And so they did a lot of amazing things. The two cards that I'm looking at, though, are first the LeBron James limited logo. It's a really strong patch on that card. I don't want to overstate it. There's a lot of strong patches, but it's got like 5 layers and 3 colors and a nice autograph. And I can't remember the last time one of those was publicly listed. And then the other card from 04 Exquisite that I keep looking at, and this is like, to me, this is like my sort of card in some ways. So it's a 2004 Exquisite Kobe Magic dual, it says patch, but it's dual jersey autograph, numbered to 2. I love this card because it's from a premier set and it's super rare. It's not from like a specific set that people are like, they always talk about like a really iconic set. But if you're a big Kobe collector, if you're a big Laker collector, this card is really, really cool. And obviously you just don't see stuff like this very often. It's probably from the Puerto Rico collection, Jim's collection that we've heard so much about. I may be wrong about that, but I would guess that it probably is. In fact, let's look at the grade on it, because if it was graded recently, 121, I'd be willing to bet that's from Jim's collection. That card is it's gorgeous, and it's already at $100,000. It's just a beautiful card. So that's a couple more that I'm kind of interested in watching.
These two right here. This LeBron is crazy. What a gorgeous card. And I'm just looking at the subgrades. So the edges are 8.5. Everything else is 9.95 or 10. So, and for me, that's the one subgrade that I want to be the lowest on a card, would be the edges. I find that most people think they play surface as the least important, or as far as the 4 criteria go for them. For me, surface is probably the most important, even above centering. And for me, surface includes the blurriness of an image, the registration. So as far as I go, this card would be right up my alley if I was in the market for it, because the 8.5 is the edges, whereas everything else is mint or better. So really great card.
I got a question for you. I told you that there were a few items that I bid on, just in case I really wanted to go strong after them, and one of them I'm still kind of thinking about. Are you bidding on anything tonight?
No, I'm not, man. I'm not. I bid on enough PWCC auctions and their regular monthlies on eBay, and this auction is basically, their goal was, I believe, that every card was a market value of $50,000 or more. Well, it's not often that I spend $50,000 on a card. It's actually never that I spend $50,000 on a card. So I kind of figured I was priced out. If I were to go through some sort of consolidation process and sell off a bunch of things, maybe I'll save up for a card in a future premier auction. But no, I'm not bidding on anything in this auction tonight. One
that I thought of really giving a ride was the Kobe Logo Man auto, just because there's just, I know there's a couple. There's actually there are others that are available right now too. So it's not just that one, but like, you're not going to see Kobe Logo Man autographs available very often. And, I've got some money in my PWCC account. I sold a couple of really big cards in the last few months. And so I did really think about it, but just, I don't know. I've always been too conservative. I always just think, oh, that's so much money and I'm not willing to spend it. And it ends up biting me over and over again. But that card, I love that card. The other one that I was really thinking about was the PMG red. I'm one of those people who like you mentioned, like, I just don't care that it's too altered. I will say this, which is really cool. The 3D imaging on that card actually enables you to see some of the places where the card appears to be altered. It looks like if you look at the downward view and you blow it up on the upper edge and you like full screen it, you can kind of see where maybe somebody took a red pen or red marker to it. But again, that's why it's altered. And like you said, nobody cares really, because if you want the card, here's your chance. And in fact, if you want the card, here's your chance, and you're going to get it for less than you would, one that wasn't altered. And most of us can't even afford this one. So, this is a good chance to get this card, I think.
It reminds me of, about what's 2 years ago when the PMG green Michael Jordan sold, and Nat Turner bought it and came out publicly and let everyone know it was him, and it was altered. And he stated publicly that he just wanted the card. Didn't matter to him that it was all. I'm sure he'd prefer it wasn't, but it was what he could. It was the one that was available. So that was an interesting take, and it's one that stuck with me for a long time. What I love about this 360-degree capability is just look how you're seeing the different like colors come out in the foil. You don't see this on standard auctions. You just don't. This technology is just awesome.
Yeah, other places are going to have to duplicate it because it's too nice not to. Especially on modern cards, like you say, with the foil and the intricacies, this really does give you a new look. I wish I was like Nat. I'd like to think that I am like him in this way though. Like, for me, owning the card is just way more important than owning it in the specific grade. The card I always think about in my collection with this is my Wilt Chamberlain 1968 Topps Test. It's a PSA 1, and I don't care that it's PSA 1. Like, I own it, and I don't know anybody else who owns that card. I love it. It's one of my favorite cards. I could talk about it for hours and hours. I have talked about it for hours and hours. But there's.
Adam, we had a bid on the LeBron James limited logos, just jumped from 360 to 380. And I'm just going to say also that if you watch the time remaining clock on the top right here, you can see my mouse moving around. It's every time a bid is placed, that clock resets to 15 minutes. So people, I think, there comes a time in some auctions where you see that clock tick down to a few seconds left, and then someone places a bid trying to stay awake longer than everybody else, and it resets then. But I think people I've been watching it. This clock is resetting quite regularly. And the nice thing for us as observers of the auction is that in 45 minutes time, it's going to reset every 5 minutes, not every 15. Adam, I'm just going to take a quick run through some of these, do some refreshes, and see if there's been any bids in extended bidding. So we can see that Ronaldo went from 35,000 to 50,000 since extended bidding. The Haaland, I might be saying that wrong. No bids there yet. The Trout from 47.5 to 55,000. So that's had a bid or two since we last looked at it. The Mookie Betts. Let's see if anything's happened here. Yes, there has been. 27.5 up to $35,000. The Tatis Jr. from 55. Anything? Yep, there's been a bid to 60,000. And I'm not clear on I just haven't looked to know what the actual increments are, but it doesn't matter. We'll just watch and enjoy. I believe the Acuna went from 50 to 75,000, telling me that there was probably more than one bid placed since extended bidding happened. Here's the LeBron out of 5, Adam, from 30,000. Still at 30, so people might be, there could be some people kind of lurking in the shadows, waiting until the clock ticks down to put in their bid. Here we go. The gold refractor still at 25,000. Jump in. Finish your story though on your Topps Test Wilt.
I was just gonna say I'm a big believer in buying the card and not so much the grade. But having said that, some cards are made great and valuable because of just their grade, or not just their grade, but because of their condition. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just collecting what you like. And for me, it's kind of more about the rarity. And I do want to go back to that LeBron gold for just a second. It's funny because so like I will always just tell you guys what I think, right?
Which one?
So
This one or this one?
That one right there. So like this card right here for a rare LeBron collector is really like just a ghost, right? You're not going to get a chance at this type of card very often. But the other side of the conversation is that the gold on this is actually viewed as like one of the least popular years. The gold color isn't people's favorite. So on this card, you have like just, you know, like I say, you got several variables. It's not considered like the key LeBron gold card, even though it's so rare. But it is a really key card, and so like moments like this in you know, sports card history are important because we get to actually find out what it's worth. Yeah. You know, and without these moments, we don't have any idea. And so like I don't know how much it's worth. I don't know if it's a six-figure card. I don't know if it's worth 30,000. I have no idea. Excuse me. What I do know is that that these moments are really important.
I agree. That's what's fun about auctions like this is that we're finding we're getting a comp, we're getting a data point, a point of reference for the future. If another card comes up, people will have an idea of where they should be on it. Let's go to some comments, see what people are talking about here. Okay, Dr. Full likes the clock reset, makes it fair for everyone, including himself. Darren says, nice 33 Gaudi Babe Ruth, a grail want for me. I'm going to show you guys mine. I'm fortunate enough to own a copy of this card. I'm going to show it off right now because I absolutely love it, and I've had it for quite some time. It's an SGC5. It's a really nice SGC5 in my opinion, in terms of the centering, the color pop, and everything. So I'm watching the SGC6 keenly because I want to see how, you know, what sort of inference I can make between the value of that and the value of my card. Hockey Card Investor says, if ScratchX is not available in USA, you may be onto something. Buy in bulk, relabel, and brand as Jeremy Lee ScratchX Dr. X. Thanks, Hockey Card Investor. And what do we have here? Allo Collector says, I tried bidding for the highest bidder. It looks like you can adjust your bid down to the highest bid. If you bid 50K, but current high bid is 25, you can still adjust your bid to 25. Well, that kind of makes sense. If the bid isn't there and you want to adjust down because you put in a super high proxy, I've never heard of that before, but doesn't offend me, that's for sure. Doctor says I'm going to need the Scratch X for that mantle. May even just reslab it, although so against that usually. Yeah, whatever it takes, man. Whatever you got to do. Josh Packham asks, does Card Ladder include the buyer's premium in their posted prices? The answer is yes, they certainly do. I'm 100% certain of that. GMOZ says there's 2 zeros too many on every card for me to bid. You're not alone. These are not these are high-end pieces. Every single lot in this auction is high-end for sure.
I think I hyped up that Kobe Magic too much because it jumped 30 grand.
Oh, did it? There it was 100.
Went from 100 to 130.
130,000. Well, if that's because of your hype, then yeah. Congrats to the seller.
To be clear, I don't think that people who are buying these types of cards are influenceable just like anybody else is, but I don't think anyone's watching this show thinking, at least I hope not, that like, oh, I'm going to go put 30 grand more on this. Like you said, Jeremy, you know, in regards to the question about people traveling to Dallas, serious card buyers have had their eyes on some of these things for a while. And yeah, if you're going to be in the air during something, or you're going to be in a place where you're not going to be able to bid, you're going to figure out a way. If there's a card that you really want and that you're willing to spend a ton of money on, you're going to figure out a way to get that bid in. Yeah. So, you know, I'm not actually concerned that that's happening, but it is one of the fun things about this party thing that we're doing right now is just sort of like re-scanning through over and over again and watching where things have gone up. And I like how you can just hit refresh on your key items there and you can see what has moved. Boy, the PMG red has moved quite a bit too. It's at 55 now. I think it was at 42 when we started. And the Rose Zero Legacy, which I've definitely had my eye on, is now at 100 grand. So those are a couple of real big ones.
All right. See what happened there. Yeah. So we're going to stick on there for a minute. I want to just do a few more comments here. Name says, thanks. I've never watched one of your live watching shows. Well, welcome, Name. I hope you're enjoying this. We got great viewership so far, so I think people are interested. Thanks, everybody. Hey, I just want to mention, if you are new to the channel, welcome to the show. Happy to have you. Please hit that thumbs up button. Please subscribe to Sports Cards Live. Greatly appreciate it. I bring you guys the best guests in hobby content week after week, Saturday after Saturday, going live every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Eric Perry makes a really great comment. He says, if you're in this for the long haul, take a dollar cost averaging approach. Spend, for example, $200 a month on the hobby, or $2,000 or $20,000 or $200,000, depending on your budget. Over time, we'll smooth out the peaks and the valleys for you. And that's my approach, Eric. Really well said. I've been buying cards nonstop for almost 40 years, everybody. Well, 30 for sure. But packs and opening packs during the 80s, but since, nonstop. And over time, they've done pretty well. Darren says, are there any Magic, Kobe, LeBron triple auto cards out there? Is that something that exists? Shaking your head at him, you'd be the one to know.
I know, there's plenty. That we actually had an article in Basketball Card Fanatic about Kobe, MJ, LeBron triple autographs. Those are kind of like some of the real grails of the of the industry, that are like incredibly valuable and sought after. Justin 610 Sports Cards wrote an article about that, and he did a really great job. We were proud to publish that. But as far as those three, with Magic, Kobe, and LeBron, I don't know of any of those off the top of my head. I don't think so.
Okay. We've had bids on I believe this is a $200,000 earlier. It's now at $280,000, the Kobe credentials. I might be wrong on that. Nothing there. Just going to run through some of these quickly and see if we've had any bids come in. And then let's go to there's been a bid on the Erling. I'm just going to call him Erling now. How about the Trout? We saw a bid last time, staying put at 55 for now. The clock is up. The clock's at 14 minutes. So there's still, we're definitely not going to see an end to this auction before the 5-minute extending reset period starts, which will be in about 36 minutes.
So like this part was unclear to me. So say it again. It's for 1 hour that we have the 15-minute bid increments, and then 5 minutes after that, right?
5 minutes until the auction ends. And
I don't want to.
As soon as a 5-minute period goes by without a single bid, it's wrapped up. The whole premier auction wraps up. Simple as that.
I think, Jeremy, I could be wrong. I think we're going to be here for a while. And I don't want to say that because I don't want people to then assume that and then not make bids and then have it end and then be like, oh, I didn't. But I think there's a really good chance it's gonna take a bit because these 15-minute increments are going to go by and there's just so much bidding currently, right?
Well, we've had a bid on this one, Adam, since we looked at it last. It's gone up to 32.5.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through these. Then we're going to go to the other tab. Let's have a look at some of the other cards. And then I want to go to the main auction site and let's see what we can look at. I'm going to cover the comments, guys, and see if anyone has asked us to look at anything. Let's see what's happened on the Brady. It was a 220. Has there been another bid? Not yet. Let's have another refresh here of the Kobe PMG, still at 55. The Logo Man, the Kobe Logo Man, 85,000. Still at 85,000. But you're right, Adam. I could see it going for several hours. It just depends. I think there was a bid there. Was there not a bid there?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember.
I think I saw a bid there. Let's have a look. Okay, here's the main page. We've got this card that you were looking at, Adam. The limited logo still at 65 on the LeBron, and then anything else happening on this duel? Not yet. Okay, let's go to the main page here. I want to just scan the comments and see if anybody wants to have a look at anything else. I like Sanderson's comment here. I don't think I can even afford to watch this auction. Joe R., good evening to you. Go Colorado Avalanche. Yes, the 3D views are spectacular. The clock is refreshing to full 15 minutes every time. Yeah, I don't think it's an error. I think the bids are just coming in, Alo. That's how that usually goes in the early minutes of these extended bidding periods. Yeah, Joe, some big time cards going on. You bet. You bet. McDoyle says, good evening all. Should be fun, interesting to watch. Thanks for joining, McDoyle. Dr. Full cleaned the garage, made dinner, and have flowers coming to the house tomorrow afternoon. This is my preparation for this auction. Probably a smart move.
Hey, real quick, Jeremy, let me interrupt. I know McDoyle may or may not be bidding on some things tonight. So if he does, I would love to hear if he wins what he's looking at. We'll just leave it at that.
Keep us posted, McDoyle. Darren says you and Jeremy do move the needle. Well, if people are watching that are bidding, maybe we do move that needle, Adam. Maybe you had something to do with that duel. Matt Berg, better late than never. As always, we got Mike from Eastridge. Good evening, Mike. We got Eric Myers in the house, stacking Kobe's, a PWCC employee and a clubhouse buddy of mine. Welcome to the show, Eric. You're welcome. Glad to be doing it. Says he can't believe the PSA 10 credentials is so cheap. It's up to 280 now, I believe. We saw, did we not? 280. Let's see if we've had yet another bid. Still at 280.
Yeah, Eric lives in this world where $280,000 for a card is cheap. I'm teasing. Eric actually does. He owns just really crazy stuff. But I'm kind of with him, especially when you look at like how that card could compare to, say, for example, the black Kobe Chrome that we saw, the black label Kobe Chrome that we saw not that long ago. The credentials is just, to me that's one of his best true rookie cards. I think that and the Rose Zero Legacy are the best. Most people would just quickly disagree and say, no, it's the Chrome Refractor. That's fine. But for me, I like the rare card, and I actually like the aesthetics of those two cards the most. Also, to get a 10 of that card kind of seems almost impossible. So yeah, for me, like that credentials card, whoever wins that card, I will be super jealous of. Big card. For T Pocket T, wanted to see the PSA 10 Kobe Chrome Refractor. Here you go, T Pocket. Very nice card. It seems to be, from what I can see, minimal sort of greening going on. Little bit in the bicep where you often do find it. But again, I love this technology. I just love how you can even see the embossment on the card, like in the creases of the jersey and the shorts. So cool. 130. We'll leave that one up there. Eric was confirming how the auction works earlier, so thank you for that, Eric. Mike from Eastridge does confirm there is a few quad autos that have Magic, LeBron, Kobe on them with another player, usually with Larry Bird or MJ. Good to know. B. Roy says, did an auction house last night and extended bidding went 4 hours. Put your max and go to bed. It's like Christmas in the morning if you win. Yeah, that's a good strategy. Put your best bid in, go to sleep, hope for the best. Nothing wrong with that approach. Jahan says, I have a similar background as you. When I was young, I'm in India trying to get my fiance in Ireland. Doesn't look good. I'll connect with you on Insta. Okay, sounds good. No, speaking to Eric, thank you. Jim says, this bidding process makes you show your hand early. Unlike a traditional bid on eBay, you can't bid the last second mark to not artificially raise the prices. Not sure if I like this. And that's why things are going this way. A lot of people don't like the snipe. I'm a sniper bidder. When I bid, I snipe. I like that. But I've also bid on traditional auctions, and you just have to adapt. Adam, please. So yeah, I think that this is a really interesting conversation, and we could speak pretty philosophically about it. I think for a while about the difference between bidding on eBay and that traditional platform versus the extended bidding. I can tell you, I love the snipe too because I like getting deals. And there's a lot of times where I get out sniped and I think, dang it, why didn't I just bid an extra $100 or a couple $100 or whatever? That happens all the time. But as a seller, I want to know that the person who wants the item most has a chance to bid at the end. And if they miss out, it's not because of some timing thing. It's not because their phone glitched at the last second. It's not because of any of that. It's because they weren't willing to pay the most money. And so, I really support PWCC in doing this because I think it brings out like really what the true market is, because there's no games. It's just who wants it the most, who can pay the most for it. And that's the way, I think that's the way it should be.
They both methods make sense and appeal to me from a buyer's perspective, and but I think why people like this method is because you can't get sniped if you're awake, and that's important to a lot of people who don't put, but the counter argument to that is, well, then you didn't put in your top bid when you had the chance. So, and some people don't want to because they don't want their top bid to get chipped away, so they might wait, cross their fingers when it gets down to 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden a guy like me might come along, put in my bid with a second left, and maybe win it, maybe don't win it. Latrell says, Adam, are you going after the Kobe PMG? Are there any PMG reds or greens you're looking to add to your PC?
I did bid on it, and it was the one card that I really was thinking about. But like Jeremy said, it's just, it is a lot of money. I don't often spend, like you said, Jeremy, I never spend $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 on a card. If I ever get a Kobe red, and I do want one because I just think it's such a beautiful card. I'm not a huge fan of the reds and greens like the way that a lot of people are, even though I love 90s basketball. But I love the image of Kobe on that card. The way, like the no-look pass, it's just beautiful. And I think even though he's in that, he's in the Laker gold, the red background on that is just so pretty. And so, but I also look at my collection right now, and I've got a lot of Kobe. And it's not that I don't want more, but to think about spending really like all of my money that I have from a couple of my big sales on that card, I think I'd be more likely to trade into it at some point than like purchase it outright.
There you have it. The Mickey went from 65 to 80, which makes sense. There was a recent comp on the PSA 6 at 100,000 with a buyer's premium. So I expect this 7, which looks like a pretty nice 7 from what I can see. Little bit of that line looks a little thick there to me. I'm going to just look at my copy to see if it has actually has the same one. It's probably a bit of the number, actually. The sideways view of the number. It does look a little blurry here to me, but otherwise a pretty nice copy.
Actually,
nice and solid.
I'm just a basketball guy now, but about 15, 16 years ago, actually, I owned one of those cards too. Mine was a 4.5. And I just will always regret the day that I sold it. I sold it for $4,000, and yeah, just such a huge mistake. But yeah, that people always refer to the 52 tops as his rookie card, and I don't have to tell anybody who's on this show the 52 tops is not his rookie card. It's the 51 Bowman.
Yeah, true story right there. Jahan says, I need a job to fund my hobby. Yeah, you need a second job, usually a job and a second job to fund some certain cards here. There's less desk slamming at the end of the auction this way. That's true, right? You can't be upset as long as you can stay up. Definitely. Why can't we get more than 4K for a kidney? Brian Schulman says, I can't check prices in extended bidding as I'm not registered. Timer works, but prices are still the same on my computer. Yeah, that I wasn't aware of that. So if that's something that PWCC is willing and able to adjust on their next one, we have to keep in mind, everybody, too, just so we know, this is their inaugural premier auction on this specific auction platform. So if there's anything that any suggestions for improvement, anything you'd like to see different, mention it here tonight. We have PWCC staffers watching this right now. We can make suggestions and hopefully they'll take notes. And if anything is feasible, perhaps they'll implement it. But this is the first time. So I think it's important to just recognize that and be patient with any thing that we might think could be improved. Jahan says, I need to get Rip's cards on. He is amazing. Sounds good. Send me a PM on Instagram or somewhere, Jahan, and we can reach out for sure.
I was going to say about Brian Schulman. He actually has a card. I won't say it in case he doesn't want me to, but he has a really big card that's available for sale at this auction. And so I'm sure that he's watching it closely. Since he can't check the prices, I'm going to go look right now and let him know if it's the same as it's been at for a little while.
Oh, go for it. That's probably, good intel to even know that. So for someone was just asking about the chart or the Pokemon. Andrew was asking about the Pokemon cards. There's 2 in the auction that I'm aware of. We've got the The base hollow first edition shadowless here is sitting at 200,000, which I believe is where it's been since we entered extended bidding. And then the other one we had was the 1995 Top Sun Blueback, which this card, this card kind of came out of nowhere recently. And our friend Yamwax on Instagram is somebody who's been really researching and figuring out where the real rare historical vintage Pokemon cards are. And I remember him talking about this several months back in probably in third quarter of last year. So it's nice to see this card getting some respect. I can't really speak to the history in terms of how it's performed, but I have to think that this might be, I could be wrong, but I think this might be a very healthy price on this card already.
Yeah, Corey really understands some of those things that are just way beyond what we normally look at. I've joined a couple of his lives and just sort of listened to him talk about things that are not mainstream at all, and I really admire that perspective. And I actually remember him talking about some of these older Pokemon cards than the 1999 set that everybody's so familiar with, and I didn't even know that those existed. So shout out to Yamwax, give him a follow on Instagram, and sort of listen to some of the stuff that he's talking about, because it's good knowledge.
For sure, man, for sure. Latrell Sprewell is the American dream, says Adam. Like you, I'm not huge into grading. All my cards in my PC are ungraded. I think grading is too expensive, and to me, condition doesn't matter, rather than just owning rare cards of my favorite player. I mean, it's personal preference, in my opinion, and I think that's just the way the world works. It's personal preference, whatever you choose. Some people like their cards graded, many people don't. No issue with that. To anyone who takes that approach. That's the beautiful thing about this hobby. We all approach it in our own unique way. And that's why meeting more people in the hobby is always interesting, because everybody has their unique approach. And if you are a curious person and you're interested in people and how they approach the hobby, ask the question. When you meet somebody at a card show, you meet somebody online, ask the question, how do you approach the hobby? What do you collect? What are some of the nuances in the way you collect? It really makes the hobby more interesting, I believe. So
I would say 80% of my collection is slabbed, and I'd probably like the other 20% slabbed too. But it's funny. I hear people talk about how it's important that they have slabs being consistent. They all need to be PSA or BGS or whatever. But I'm a really big fan of just of doing things your way, like Jeremy just said. You don't have to collect like anybody else says you should collect. And so, Latrell Sprewell, I would just say, do your thing. If you want to keep yours ungraded, then don't grade them. There's the no slab movement that a couple of guys are into. They're into breaking or cracking slabs and having their stuff raw. There's some stuff that I like having raw to put into a binder. For Brian Schulman, your card is at the price that it was 10 minutes ago. So I don't think it's changed since extended bidding started. All right.
And Jahan says, Adam, if you had a factory sealed 1 of 1, would you risk getting it graded?
No, I'm actually a big proponent of when you get a card that is factory sealed, leaving it that way. I have a couple of cards that come to my mind. I've got a Damian Lillard flawless autograph from his rookie year. There's only 25 of, I think. And a lot of those have been cracked. And then sent in for grading. But I actually like that there's very few of them left that are still in the holder. And if it came out of the pack that way, I prefer it that way. I would never take a card that came encased like that and then crack it, even if it was going to get a 10, because to me, the grade, again, it just doesn't really matter that much. Most of my collection isn't valuable because of the grade. It's valuable because of the card that it is.
Fair comments. I'm just running through a few more of these. And we did get a bid on the rookie year LeBron limited logos. Went from 380 to 400. Extended bidding is back up to 15 minutes right now. So we're about 20 minutes away from seeing this max out at 5 minutes.
Yeah, let me say real quick. The guys at Slab Stocks compared this to the Kobe. Kobe Credentials. And the Kobe Credentials is huge. It's just a huge, huge card. And I don't have any idea what it's going to go for. I don't have any idea what the LeBron's going to go for. But to me, as I looked at all of the cards that are in this auction, the LeBron stood out as the king of the auction. It's a 9.5, which is like, again, I'm not a big grading guy, but to have any copy of this card show up is huge. To have one that has a bright blue autograph with a very above average patch, which, by the way, I think this is his only game used rookie card. I think all of his other RPAs are like photo shoot and whatever else, but this one, the limited logos from 2003, I believe is game used. It's a 9.5. It's got the incredible patch, the autograph's bright blue. That's a real cornerstone type card, and you don't see that card go up for auction in any sort of grade. But like in that grade and in that condition, that's a really special card.
It truly is.
And by the way, I don't know who owns it, so I don't know who owns it. I don't know anybody who's going after it. But like, that's my take. If I was to own any card from this auction, that's the one.
And the price is kind of backing you up on it. You're not, meaning you're not alone on that, I don't think. I want to say hi to Eli. Hope all is well with you, my man. Dr. Full says, I try to get a card in each grade 1 to 10, PSA only, not every card, but the few that are my favorite. I also like to know they are protected from clumsy fingers, to which Jahan says, protection is a good reason to grade, important, especially if living in humid weather. I'm going to throw out that what I think is the most important reason for grading is authentication. Not just the condition is one thing, but authentication is super important when it comes to grading. So, I mean, not every card has is authentication going to be a questionable issue or a common occurrence where the card may be counterfeited and that sort of thing. But in my opinion, when it's certain cards, we know there are copies out there, authentication is certainly more important than the grading aspect of having your card slab. Protection important too as well. Doug Brenner tells us that PWCC sells factory sealed cards as well. Good to know. Maybe Doug Brenner works for PWCC, I'm not sure, but if you do, welcome to the show. Jeremy must be my buddy, a clubhouse friend, says that LeBron is a ridiculous steal at the current price. Scary for the seller if it goes this low. Assume he's talking about this limited logos right here, but I don't think it's going to go this low. I think there will be more bids. We're still early. We're not even in the 5-minute extended bidding reset period yet. And that's where I think things are going to get a little crazy. So time will tell, though. DeLond has a question. Are blue autos more sought after, or just depends on the cards?
Oh, man. I've talked a lot about this with a couple of close hobby friends. I think I think that over the course of the last maybe 7 or 8 years, blue autographs have like bright blue, untouched by the light autographs, not darkened at all, not faded at all. I think the premium on them has gained. I don't have anything empirical on this, but I think the premium has really become more significant. I think people want their cards as if they came straight from the pack. And for a long time, people like to show off their cards. They didn't really realize how much damage light could do. But, I actually have a LeBron James exquisite patch auto. It's to 23. It's a wonderful card. Its autograph is it's faded. It's just not as nice of a card anymore. And if it had a blue autograph, it'd probably be worth twice as much as what it is.
Jahan says that blue autos look better to most. I agree. I do prefer a blue auto unless the black autograph just fits into the card design better, but that's kind of a rare thing. I definitely prefer a blue autograph. Eric Perry says opening a factory sealed item is a one-way street. Not a bad idea to leave it sealed. You can always open it later. And Jahan, feels the same way. I'm afraid new graders will damage the card now or just grade it harshly because of the recent drama. A concern that he's not alone in having. Hockey Card Investor says grading also protects your investment. And Latrell says, thank you for doing this. In my humble opinion, you two are some of the great ambassadors of the hobby. Thank you so much. Latrell Sprewell is the American dream. That's really nice of you to say. And Unlucky Breaker, is the LeBron Exquisite a true rookie card or just rookie year card? This card on the screen right now is just a rookie year card. It does not earn the RC designation. It is not from the main set of the release.
Yeah, that's true. Can I just add real quick that there's been conversation over the years though about the true RPA, which is the card that's to 99 and it has a variation or a parallel that's to 23. People have compared that to the limited logos because the limited logos has some competitive advantages, right? It has a lot larger patch. A lot of the patches are a lot nicer, and the patch is game used, right? So there have been people through the years who sort of speculated, should one be worth more than the other? Should the limited logos be worth more? I don't really know. I've always been like a true rookie guy. Go after the true rookie, but I do think those competitive advantages of the limited logo over the regular rookie are interesting, at least to think about.
Here's the PSA 5 Mickey Mantle. It's got a nice look at this. Yeah, well, that's a great looking card. What a beauty. What a beauty. Oh, only if we could turn back time. You, me, and the 150 people watching right now. If only we could turn back time. Hey, Adam. I mean, I think everybody has had those thoughts for the last little while. That's a beauty. That's a nice 5 from what I can tell without holding it in hand. But let's see if we can see anything that stands out when you spin it around a little bit with this PWCC technology.
Look at the upper right real quick.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I think that's on the slab though. I think see right here.
Yeah.
I think that's a slab mark versus a mark in the card.
Yeah, if it was a little bit bigger, I'm sure you can see that better than I can, but the fact that you can see a surfacey thing on the slab is just, again, I want to give them an applause because usually you can't see that. The only reason you can see that right now is because you can go back and forth on the angle and see how the light hits it. It's not as good as holding it in hand, but it's got to be the closest thing that we've ever had to that.
You see the mark, and there's like a fingerprint right here. You probably can't see, but there's like something on there you can tell. It's not on the card, it's on the slab because it goes away there, but there you see it. Just the level of sophistication of this technology. I don't think we've seen this before. So, and my hope for PWCC is that they apply this technology to their regular eBay auctions as time goes by.
Hey, the Steph is up to 280. The last time I saw it was at 200. Big time Steph prices, just that guy is so collected. We were talking about it a little bit today on the Michael Jordan thread or group that you and I are both members of. Like Steph Curry's high end stuff is just unbelievably sought after. And anyway, like 280,000 pre-buyers premium. It's over a $300,000 card at this point. I get that it's a 9.5 and it's a pretty decent patch, but it's a card that's numbered to 99. That's awesome.
Let's look at Jahan makes a comment. People will appreciate LeBron more once he's retired. Story isn't over yet. Great point. I'm a Jordan fan, but people better not doubt LeBron. Could end badly. He's got a ton of motivation. I mean, he had what I think Carvin Chung might refer to, and I want to confirm with Carvin, but Carvin has dubbed what he calls a GOAT moment. We talk about GOATs all the time. There's the debate. I think GOATs travel in herds. You can have more than one GOAT. But was last night's three-pointer over Steph Curry, was that a GOAT moment? Now, it wasn't a championship-winning shot, but it was still a very important game that put them into the playoffs. Is that a GOAT moment? Adam, what are your thoughts?
It was amazing. I watched it just like everybody else did. I don't think it's a GOAT moment, though. I don't think you can have GOAT moments in something that's like not even the playoffs yet. It's cool. It's a great shot. But like the Lakers have to – I know that Vegas has them as the favorite still to win the West. So, if they go win the West and they go win the championship, man, that'll be a GOAT moment because that puts him – that just puts him closer, just puts him closer to MJ. But if they flame out and like don't win in the first round or whatever, then this will be a very forgettable season for LeBron.
Here's a nice Mahomes card out of 2 with a Nike swoosh. Rookie year card. Very nice. $95,000 $1,000. Adam, what did you think of this lot here? The complete black refractor set, 2003, with the LeBron, the Dwayne Wade, the Carmelo rookies. Did you look at it? Did you think about it? Seems like that seems like a nice lot to me.
Yeah, it's incredible. In 2003, when people were opening Chrome, they weren't really even looking as much at the base rookies or even at the refractors. Refractors, I think, if I remember right, were 1 in 4 or 1 in 6 packs. They were one of the easiest years of refractors. People forget that now, 18 years later. But the blacks were always sought after. Numbered to 500. Just beautiful, beautiful cards. And this was on the heels of the previous years, both in 2002 and 2001, the black refractors out of Chrome were the key cards. There weren't gold refractors out of Chrome until 2003. So people wanted those blacks. They were huge, and to get all of them in one place is really pretty cool.
No doubt, yeah. To be able to get, no, I mean, you're getting a lot of commons in there, but you're getting all the superstars, all the Hall of Famers. You're getting everything in a lot like that, which is very cool. Very cool.
So going back to the black versus blue autograph thing real quick. There's and I think maybe I misunderstood the question based on how you answered his question, but there's a Jerry West 61 Fleer up that is one of my favorite types of things in the hobby right now. It's a PSA DNA card, and so it's an autographed. It's autographed in person. Obviously, it wasn't put in the packs that way. It's 60 years old. That card right there, that card's interesting to me because, and again, I'm going to say something really positive and then something that's not as positive at the same time because I just want to be really honest. To get an autographed Jerry West rookie that is also graded an 8 is unbelievable. I don't know the pop on this. I guarantee you it's really, really small. In fact, I'm going to look it up here in just a second when I get the chance to switch back screens, but there are not a lot of this card out there. But if I could just say, I own this card with a blue autograph, and the blue's really, really nice on this card. That would have been nicer. But in an 8, man, unbelievable card.
And back when this card was autographed, it was more like, hey, grab me a pen versus hey, grab me a blue pen.
That's right. Good call.
But a beautiful card nonetheless. Okay, well, I'm going to go back to the main page here. If I can find it, we'll just go this way.
And while you do that, I'm going to find that pop on that.
On the Jerry West?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but there is a PSA DNA population, and it's really cool because you find out that some cards just have not been signed at all. So to corroborate what I was just saying, Jerry West has 73 autographed rookie cards, okay, across all grades. There are 0 10s, there are 0 9s, and there are 2 8s. That is an incredibly important card. That's the highest graded Jerry West autographed rookie card in existence. And so here I am, complaining about what color the autograph is. Maybe I should shut up about that and just recognize that's actually an incredible card. Again, if I had my druthers, I'd have it in blue, but nonetheless, it's an amazing card.
Super rare, super rare. This is a card that's always sort of fascinated me, if you will. I don't understand why this is the picture that they selected. I mean, this card, is the jersey way too big on him or what's the deal? Because you look at that card, it's I recognize the importance of the card. I love PMGs as much as the next guy, maybe more than the next guy. Not as much as everybody, but I love them myself. But this is one of the least attractive images on a card, on an important card like this that I've seen, and I just question the photo selection of this particular card.
So I'll just give my guess or my guess at what may have happened. The retro series that were put together by Upper Deck, they were not put together with the same love that the original credentials and the original PMGs were. They just weren't. But they did do a lot of the same things. They brought back a lot of the same technology. It is still a very popular set. I own several cards from the product. I actually really like it for what it is. But as part of that, there are images across the whole set that aren't as good. When the set was created, this is the important part though. When the set was created, no one knew that Giannis was going to be a really key player in the set, maybe like the key player along with LeBron and MJ. And so, he's just one of the random rookies that they threw in. And then add on top of that, Giannis didn't even have like film out on him when he came to the NBA. There were people who were just like trying to get any amount of film on him. It's possible that like he didn't have images that were actually too much better than this one available for the card.
That's what I was thinking. Like how well known was he when he entered the league? So if that's why, I can understand that they wouldn't have put as much love into the photo selection for this unknown guy with a 20-letter last name that most people can't pronounce. But now you look back and you're like, imagine if this was a much better looking card. Here's a question for you, for the crowd. Would it impact the value if this, you consider the MJ PMG from 97 with that unbelievable image of him on it compared to this one? How, if this Giannis had an image that was comparable to the MJ, would it be worth more than it is, or is it enough that it's Giannis PMG green out of 10? So, I mean, who knows, right? We can't answer that question. We don't know, but it's an interesting thought experiment.
It really is.
Go ahead. Quick thought, and then I want to go to some comments, and then we'll go back to the auction.
I've already talked a couple times about how like it's hard to pull variables apart. That card is basically being valued because of how valuable the original set was and the name. It's valuable because of its name and because of the original set, not because of what it actually is. Right. So if you were to change some aspect of it, would it make it more valuable? I have no idea. Good question.
Is this a card that you really like?
Yeah, I love that card. I think, in my opinion, this as well as the credentials are the two best Kobe Bryant rookie cards. And I would take this number one, honestly.
This is so nice. Look at right there. It's almost like a three-dimensional card, the way his head on the bottom right, it's kind of popping off the card itself. Yeah, really nice.
For my money, the 96 Flair Showcase Rose Zeros, not just the Legacies, but just the Rose Zeros, are some of the nicest cards ever made. I only own one of them. I own the Kobe that's not in a Legacy, so it's worth like 1/25 the price or something like that. But if you have a favorite player from those playing days, like just get one of those cards. It's just a beautiful set.
Well said. I just was going to bring up this comment right here from Jay Moliku. He says Brady should be higher than a not true LeBron rookie. So the not true LeBron rookie is currently sitting at $400,000, and the Brady that he's referring to is at 220 still. So Moliku is in the minority is on the opposite end of where the auctions are at right now. But I hear you, Moliku. I think the biggest difference there is just how much more popular basketball cards are than football cards. It really is as simple as that, I believe.
I don't know. I don't know football very well, and so the moment that I try to act like I know football is the moment where I'm going to look pretty stupid. But isn't that card, like, isn't the parallel of that card the one that's worth just crazy money?
Yeah, it's the gold version out of 100, and that one has sold for much more than we see here.
While you're looking at that, yeah, I mean, I'm going to give Moliku the answer. Dude, there's 655 of that card in the population across all grades at Beckett. Like, that's a huge number, man. Like LeBron, there's 75 of those cards in existence. This Brady is a great card, especially because it's a 9.5. But like the fact that what I would say is the fact that there are 655 of those, and there are 50, I guess there are only 15 9.5s, but the fact that there's like so many of that card out there to go get, and it's still worth like $250,000 is incredible.
It is. Darren says, any guesses where tonight's Jordan rookie will end? The PSA 10. Is that on this page still? Let's have a quick look. We have it right here. It's currently at 380. I don't really have a guess. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it start with a 4 versus a 3. I think that would be nice. And it very well may be. It's also getting the PWCC above average designation. So, you know, it's nicer than many of its counterparts from PWCC's eye appeal judgment. And so time will tell. We'll find out eventually. We are now in the 5-minute. We moved into it a couple minutes ago, Adam. We're now in the 5-minute extended bidding reset period. So things are going to start happening quicker now. People have to place their bids within 5 minutes instead of within 15 minutes. So I'm going to put us back on the main page here. Adam, we're about 17 minutes behind in comments. So I want to run through some of these quickly. I want your comments on them. Let's try and bust through some of these, though. Okay, Chris Dwornik says, with grading, are you picky with it being a PSA or Beckett, or with the prices, are you going to be more interested in the up and coming graders just to have it re-slabbed? Oh boy, we're way behind in comments. Just to have it slabbed based off of pricing. That's a question that we could spend a lot of time answering. But if you're asking myself, I'm gonna stick with the incumbents for now. To me, grading is much more than just the grading; it's the authentication as well. And I'm interested to hear what some of these other newer grading companies have to say in terms of what's their experience. Because to me, grading is it's an art and a skill. And it comes with experience. There are no courses you take in college to become a grader like there are to become a professional doctor, lawyer, accountant, engineer, that sort of thing. So to me, I'm going to stick with the people that I believe have the experience under their belts for now. But I'm interested to see what happens down the road. Adam, anything different to say, or can we move on? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I muted myself to cough. And
Okay.
No, I said we're good. You know, it's interesting because we bring up this Jordan rookie. Number one, it shows you what I know. I didn't even realize that the Jordan PSA 10 was in this auction. I just glanced past it because I don't have any interest in it. But the fact that, to me, the fact that card and the LeBron exquisite limited logos are roughly the same price is insanity. I think it's crazy. So, but that tells you about who I am and like what I value in cards. One of them is incredibly rare, will never show up, like it might be years before it shows up at auction again, and is very sought after. And the other one has 319 copies that are graded that high. And so, or whatever the number is, 308, 300, I don't know. Like, to me, that LeBron is just, man, it's a significantly more important card in how difficult it is to find.
Exactly. There's only 75 copies produced. There's thousands of Jordan rookies, so rarity is so important. I think we just sort of come back to that. Let's see here. B. Roy says, how long before others adopt this technology? It's amazing. Time will tell. Thank you, Todd McDonald. Says, great show. Jeremy Adam could watch for hours. That's really nice to hear. Thank you, Todd. Glad to hear that you guys are enjoying this. We've been holding great viewership so far. So thanks, everybody. If you're not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. Give us a thumbs up. That'll let us know to keep on doing this, because I enjoy it, and it's great to have Adam along for the ride. He's a great co-host with me on not only on the auction watch party, but on After Hours with me regularly. Comes on about once a quarter with me. If you're new to the show, every Saturday I go live with a guest at 10 p.m. Eastern, and then after that episode, I go live with another guest, usually at midnight Eastern. The first show is called Sports Cards Live. The second show is called After Hours, and it's pretty much 3 to 4 hours of fun hobby content where you guys are part of the show, because as you can tell, I like to integrate the comments that you guys put out there. Eric Perry says, can the eBay platform support this technology? I believe, Eric, the answer to that is that they can link to their own website. PWCC has already been doing that with their high-res technology, where you click on a picture in their eBay listing, it takes you to that image on their web server. So I believe the answer is yes. They have a workaround, pretty much. Raymond T.O. says, great show. Anyone seen the complete 0304 RPA set in person? In your opinion, what's the hobby significance of the full set? I love that question, Raymond. I love that question because it asks, it really says, is there value in a complete set? And I've pondered this for years. And for me, the answer is no. I don't think there's good value in a complete set. You have to buy too many cards of players that don't matter. And by don't matter, I mean don't have a collector base. They matter to their family. They matter to, there's someone that collects everybody sort of thing, but there's not a big enough collector base that someone's going to want to, people want to go after the LeBrons, the Jordans, the Magics, the Birds, the Kobes, though, and other, other level of stars as well. But if it's a 200 card set, do you really need 200 cards in it? I personally do not. I will consider my set complete. I will define the parameters of my set, and I will build my checklist from the master checklist of that set and say, okay, it's a 200 card set. I want 15 cards. I chase them. When I have them, I'm done. I never look back. And now when I need to sell it because I'm old and I'm at that point in my life, I'm not burdening myself or my family with selling off all these cards that don't really matter. And the other thing is, I just don't know if you're ever going to make your money back by collecting a complete set that way. So it depends. Vintage baseball complete sets, there's people that compete on those on the PSA set registry. You might have better luck with something like that. But as far as just a modern set, my answer is no. Adam, anything else?
Yeah, I would just say collecting sets is fun. And being a set collector, for me, collecting a set is a part of like being a collector. And so I'm always putting together sets. And to see the whole thing in person, Raymond, would be super cool. However, if I'm being honest, when I think about times where I flipped things and made the most money, a lot of times how I've made the most money on things is by buying a full set, breaking it, and selling it individually. So I think the fun of sets is actually putting them together. This isn't the question that you're asking, I don't think, Raymond, but like you wouldn't, in most cases, I don't think you'd actually want to sell a full set. I think you'd rather break it up, which feels so terrible, right? You do all this work to put it together to just sell it separately. It seems weird, but that's what I would recommend.
And I agree. Collecting a complete set is part of collecting, and I do it. I'm currently working on several sets, but they're sets that I collect for specific reasons. Like they're and it's a similar reason. If that's what is important, like a set that is built of stars and Hall of Famers, and that's like an insert set from a regular issue. I get a big kick out of collecting things like that. But as far as collecting a complete set that includes rookies, where there might be 60 rookies in the set and only 20 are really going to matter after 5 years, you're picking up a lot of commons in that way, but they will look beautiful together. And if you're going to make a display, hey, that's a nice way to approach the hobby. No real knock against it.
Hey, the Steph jumped again. It's now at 340,000. So that's a big jump. And the Brady jumped. Your boy who was talking about the Brady is helping it out. It's at 260,000 now. So
the Brady went from 220 to 260.
Yeah.
And the Steph went from 280 to 320.
340. Yeah.
340.
So I have, just so you know, Jeremy, I have it sorted from highest to lowest at this point.
Sure. Let's try that.
Your Jackie's at 140.
Which grade?
7.
Yeah. Mine is a 6, but they have a 6 in the auction as well.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
That's okay. Wish I had a 7. Let's see. Darren says Curry changed the game from above the rim to a mile from it. The game has evolved because of him. Fair comment. Jahan says I also kind of think it's overkill because buyers are going to have the card in hand, although I guess it helps a lot in seeing condition. Fair. Jeremy Stein says GOAT moments happen in truly huge games or huge turning point scenarios. Good point. Thank you very much. It goes on to say the Jordan Nike promo seems to have fallen from the peak quite a bit, and we'll know for sure by the end of the night. I'm going to try and catch up on these, Adam. Dr. Full says they are using eBay, I believe, for this auction. I don't believe they are actually. They have they're supported by eBay, but I can actually confirm they're not using eBay for this auction. Yeah, Jeremy goes on to say this one is their new proprietary system and not eBay. That is correct. The giraffe cards, does anyone know why there was a giraffe? Which one? What is he talking about there? Is that the Giannis?
I think
Giannis
is
PMG?
he talking about like one of the Pokemon card looks kind of.
Oh, the Pokemon. Yeah, it could be the Top Sun, which I think
so.
I might have up here somewhere. Let's see if we have it up still. There. This one here. Let's see what Weiser says. In-person autograph cards, even with great grades, seem to sell for less than one would think. Any reason for that? I think people just like pack-pulled cards. I know I do. For me, I do.
100% the same, Jeremy. I think the only thing that I'd add to that, though, is when you're talking about something like the Jerry West, there is definitely, unquestionably, a big time following at this point for iconic cards that have signatures, after on them, as as that West is showing, and as other cards are showing. The card that surprised me, though, is one of the people who was watching said one of those modern baseball cards was a signed in person card. I wouldn't have guessed that because again, I'm not a baseball.
The Trout. I think he was referring to the Trout. Yeah. The Gretzky's still at 180. Let's see here. Sanderson says that was clearly a rush job. I think he's talking about the Giannis green PMG.
Yeah.
Darren says LaMelo Ball poses are quite questionable, to say the least, as well. Mollico says, I think it matters, for example, on Brady rookies, people prefer the cards with the better pictures, such as game uniform versus practice unit. I'm with you on that, Mollico. I as far as Brady goes, I'm 100% there as well. I think the image on the card is the first thing that you really notice when you look at a card. If you're scanning a showcase at a card show, or you're scrolling eBay, or you're scrolling PWCC Premier Auction, I mean, this is a bit different because you know what you're going to get here. But I'm the same way, Mollico. It's the aesthetics of the overall card, which includes the image on that card. Facebook user says it's junk wax, but is Solani rookie card worth less because he isn't wearing a Jets jersey? Could be. Darren says, "Hey, you skinny kid from Greece, here, put on this pop-up tent. Cool. Now go dribble around."
Hey, let me just jump in while you go through these comments real quick. We could see this end at any time now, guys. We're in these 5-minute windows, and we're just kind of acting like it's going to keep going. It could end at any second. So for those of you who are not accustomed to extended bidding at this point, like, this whole auction could end in any second. And so again, if you are planning on bidding, like, now's kind of the time to do that. Yeah,
fair. Well, the Giannis went from 85 to 90 since I last refreshed this page. I mean, I think it's going to go, when we talked about doing this show, I figured, we're both in the mountain time zone. So 7:30 our time, go till 10 o'clock. That's in 45 minutes. So we've already been going for 2 hours. And I think you're right, Adam, but I think the auction's got a couple hours left to go. But let's keep on going. Mollico says the champion ticket is around $2 million. That's the parallel of the Tom Brady contenders. Sanderson says collectors care how a cards look, investors do not. Pretty fair. Peeps, what is up? Great to have you. Disco says there's a bit of a price gap between Brady and LeBron Topps Chrome refractors in general. Is the print run higher in football? Not sure. Facebook user says PSA turned around to Super Express in 3 days. Backlog could be low. That's encouraging for everyone who has cards at PSA. Angie Volkakis says, hey, did you watch the Montreal game versus Toronto? Good show. Thank you for the good show. Nope, been doing this for a couple hours already, but heard Jonathan Tavares got hurt and got carried off on a stretcher. That's not good for the Toronto Maple Leafs' hopes of winning the Stanley Cup this year, but time will tell. Mollico, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Dr. Bold, VTG sets are different than modern sets. What's VTG, Adam?
Vintage?
Oh, vintage. Yeah, you bet. 100%. Thank you for that. That might have been a little bit obvious. Peep says, fast forward 25 years, isn't authenticity, rarity, and eye appeal much more important than if it's PSA, BGS, or SGC?
I agree. 100%.
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not as convinced. I think that that third party opinion is very important, regardless of what's inside. I just feel that, and Adam, you and I work in similar. We have similar backgrounds in finance and that, and I always make the analogy to audited financial statements. They're audited by a third party who opines on their accuracy or their lack of a material misstatement. And to me, the third party opinion is important if that third party is qualified, experienced, and has a good track record. I'll just leave it at that for now, though. Sanderson says, Jeremy, please start your Saturday show earlier. I'm done here. No can do, Sanderson. It's based on my kids. I have young kids.
Let me just jump in real quick, though. I think what he said, though, right there in that previous question, Jeremy, is really important. He mentions authenticity at the beginning, and that's what you were talking about when you were talking about like the grader being so important. Like the card is what matters most in the end. It's not the plastic around it. I'm sure of that. But the authenticity, like you pointed out, that is paramount, because if something is altered or is not real, making it inauthentic, that's the most important thing to know. And that's why the grader really matters.
I agree. The reason why I think that the slab matters too, and I'm not saying buy the slab, I'm a guy that buys the card, not the grade, not the slab, but I recognize the importance of the slab, especially in today's market with so many investors. If all the investors go away, because we know that the investors care about the grade, we know that not all of them, but the guys who don't really care, that aren't collectors, they care about the grade because that's a differentiator and an important differentiator to them versus looking at a card and taking out your loop and doing a comparison. So 25 years from now, the landscape will be different. It's hard to predict, but if things stay the same overall in the way that most people approach the hobby, authenticity, eye appeal, rarity, yeah, so important. I agree. Much more important. Yeah, I don't want to even compare the two. I think there's importance in both the rarity, authenticity, and eye appeal, but I think that people will still put value based on the slab that the card is in, for better or for worse. I'm not saying my preference, just for better or for worse. Okay. Jeremy says, some sets are fun because they're unique. I have a set of 72 Icy Bear, and it's like a cool time machine of a game in that era. No doubt, no doubt. Oh, the giraffe, the 61 Fleer Lakers, right, with the logo. Got it. Thank you very much. The Jerry West. Got it, guys. Doug Brennan, you guys, go ahead, Adam.
The Kobe logo man jumped 30 grand. It's at 130 now.
Let's do a price highest first. I'd just like to try and stay as current on the comments as I can, and we're not that far behind. So let's have a look here. 400, the Jordan hasn't moved. Look at the Steph. The Steph has moved. There it is. The Kobe's up to 300, as you just mentioned. 260 on the Tom Brady. The Charizard hasn't moved since extended bidding started an hour and 20 minutes ago. Neither has the Gretzky O-Pee-Chee PSA 9. This has moved. The Kobe Refractor, Top Chrome Refractor PSA 10. This one even moved since I think you told me 130. Now it's at 140. There's the Kobe. That hasn't moved since we last saw it. Neither has that. The box of O-Pee-Chee Hockey, BBCE authenticated, has been stagnant at 120. I love this card. This would be, if I could pick a card to buy from the auction to add to my collection, I think it would be this LeBron. I just love SP Authentic and Ultimate Collection rookies from those early Upper Deck years, or those midterm Upper Deck years, I guess. Topps Chrome LeBron at 100 grand for the PSA 10, the refractor. That hasn't moved yet or lately. 95, 90, 90 on the PSA 7 Mickey. I got to think that's going to go for more just based on reason. But you can see here we're at 4. This thing keeps on resetting to 5 minutes.
Yeah. The Kobe, we haven't even talked about this one, but the Kobe 2018 Prism Gold, which I guess I kind of have an interest in, I've got a 2012 gold. It's like it's my best card. So it's definitely different than this one, but it jumped earlier. It was at like 17 and now it's at 55. So that's, I don't know if it jumped from 17 to 55, but it's getting some serious traction too.
It's jumping. The Acuna out of 25 at $80,000. The PSA 5 Mickey is at 80. I thought that might have been a little bit lower last time we looked at it.
The 2006 Chrome LeBron X-Fractor to 10 is one that I'm really interested in. That might be, and hopefully there's somebody out there who's a better expert on this than me. That might be the rarest non-superfractor Chrome LeBron card. I think that's right. The rarest non-superfractor Chrome LeBron number to 10, and it's not cheap. It's $47,500. But to me, that does seem low. It seems like that should be higher than that. I don't know.
I wish I knew more about how many Tom Brady, auto patch cards existed, because this card to me is just a stunner, an absolute stunner.
Yeah.
And let's just have a bit of a better look here.
You've got to give Panini so much credit for what they've done over the last decade. As I look back at some of their autograph patches, like they have just nailed it over and over again.
This is really nice. 15 copies made, a nice vertical card. The autograph looks pretty good. A little bit of a run there, but that's just from the way the pen hit the paper. Just a pretty card for 65,000 PSA 10. I mean, it's a lot of money. No matter whichever way you look at it, it's a lot of money. But that's just a beautiful card. I think if I could own a couple cards in this auction, aside from that, from a LeBron James SPA or Ultimate Rookie, this might be I've looked at this a few times since I stumbled across this auction originally. Okay, back to the comment here. Doug, been leaving this comment up for a while, says, this is awesome. Thanks again. The Topsun Blue back, no number, is a steal at the current price. PSA pop 1 of 2, absolute grail in Pokemon. Eric Meyer says, let's do a clubhouse chat after. I'm game, buddy. I am game. We'll see how long we go here, but I'm most likely game. T-Pocket, predictions of what time this will end. That's so tough. I'm going to give a range. So right now in my time zone, it's 25 after 9. I'm going to say between like 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. my time, which is far away from now, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Adam, just put out a time.
If I'm going to give a range, it's somewhere between right now and sometime tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's
honestly, like there have been other extended bidding platforms that have gone a long time, and the great thing about what PWCC is doing here, they're doing this 5-minute thing, which should speed it up. But you might have a random bid on this item in one 5-minute period, and then that item on another 5-minute period. Guys, we might go for a long time. But what I was saying earlier about bidding now is still true, because you don't want to wait and then have it end and go, oh, shoot, I thought it was going to keep going. Like, we don't know that it's going to keep going. So I would tell everybody, like, if you want something, go bid on it.
Go bid, people, go bid. All right, Latrell says, arena design designers of the PMG Rubies credentials say they're getting back in the card industry. That is great to hear, because that couple, Gene and Earl Arena, I believe, designed some spectacular cards that we are all chasing to this day. Definitely. Raymond says, thanks for your response to the exquisite set question, guys. Much appreciated. Adam, this is Roy Danger on Instagram, by the way. Another set building tragic.
He's got an unbelievable collection on Instagram. I tell everybody to go check it out. And thanks for saying hi, brother. I was gonna say, while we were going through and we were mentioning other cards that we're just noticing, we totally skipped over the Ted Williams 39 play ball autographed card. Like, that card is amazing, right? Like, it is. I mean, I know that Ted Williams lived a long time, and so he's probably got a few of these, but that's an iconic and important card, signed, beautiful signature diagonally across the card. That's over 80 years old. That's just, to me, that, like, I'm not a baseball guy, but I love the history of it and appreciate that. I think that card's special.
It is a beauty. It's a beauty for sure. Eric Myers owns this card in a PSA 9, which is, I think, one of his, if not his best card that he may own right now. Maybe not. I won't speak for you, Eric, but I know you're very proud of that card. I own it. I own a copy of this card in a PSA 5 that I bought at the National, probably in 2017 or 2018, somewhere like that. I'll share it with all of y'all. It's a beautiful PSA 5 Ted Williams play ball. I just love, very proud of it. It's no PSA 9 like Eric's, but
that's gorgeous.
It's still a beauty. It's still a beauty for sure.
Hey, two more shout outs for cards that we haven't talked about at all. They're both LeBron. There's just a lot of quality LeBron in this lot. That's why I keep mentioning him. I'm not as big a LeBron collector as I am other guys, but I keep noticing really nice LeBrons in this group. 2005 Finest is thought of as one of the best looking years of Finest. In fact, a lot of people think it's the best looking year. And the black X Fractor in a PSA 10 is up, and it's at $20,000. That card's really special. That's an awesome card. And then
so you're talking about this one here, the black X Fractor here?
Yeah.
One of 9, only 9 copies. Wow.
Yeah.
That's,
and just
to me, it's early. It's a third-year card, only 9 produced at PSA 10, 20,000. I don't know. That seems low to me. Like 60 wouldn't surprise me. 20 seems low to me on that card. What was the other one you were mentioning?
The other one is kind of a funny one. A lot of people will go and not even notice this one, but it's a rare rookie of LeBron. The autographic's purple. The purples are numbered to 25. It's the brand of card was autographics. Oh, it's not actually an autograph. Yep. And you know, I can't imagine there's too many 9.5s of it, but as you know, LeBron rookie cards have taken hold of a lot of people's, you know, a good portion of their collections. This is a chance to get something that's, you know, both really rare and important because it's his rookie card. And so you can, the thing that I like about a card like this is it differentiates your collection. Like a lot of people have a lot of the same types of cards. Only 25 people have this one. And it's like you can say, yeah, I own the purple autographics LeBron, and people are going to be like, you own that? Like it's like the mark of a kind of a discerning collector, a collector who's like very much into their own type of thing. I like, if I was going to bid on anything, I might bid on something like that because it's just so different, you know, and I don't know anyone else who has one.
I think myself and some people watching are like, darn, wish we were eligible for extended bidding on a card like this, because you raise a great point. What I like about it is, and this came back to the comment earlier about what's important, rarity. 25 copies on the planet of a LeBron James rookie card. I believe it would be a rookie card parallel. You know, and look, it's a true gem plus 3 9.5s and a 10. You know, it's got the horizontal thing going versus a vertical. I prefer a vertical for a rookie card, but nonetheless, the rarity, and it's pretty it's very unique looking as well. The purple background is pretty cool. Yeah, good call out on that one, Adam.
You bring up something interesting on the extended bidding though. This is one of the dangers of extended bidding, is that when it gets really like hot and heavy, by that point, you've maybe already missed out on your shot. And that's why early on in this live, you and I said, each of us said repeatedly, go make sure there's not anything that you want to bid on, because, you know, honestly, Jeremy, there's more people than you and me who are looking at this LeBron card right now thinking, oh boy, I wish I could bid on that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's too late. So this is the first time PWCC is doing one of these auctions. They're going to do many, many, many more. And what I would encourage you to do is like go through when the auction first goes live and go put a bid on everything that you may really want a shot at in the end. And then when time comes, some stuff will go way too high, but at least you'll have those other things that are still there that you placed a bid on earlier that you can then still bid on.
Yeah, good point. Good strategy for next time. My understanding is that they're planning to go to a monthly premier auction, or I believe monthly. So time will tell what they end up doing. I think they're nimble in that fashion, but hopefully they have another one coming up soon. If it's not June, July, and I think Adam, we'll definitely be up for doing this again. it's a lot of fun, and we're getting some great comments from the chat. So thank you everybody for that. Hockey Card Investor says PSA posted they are caught up on processing the backlog. Well, that's pretty nice to hear. Definitely. Peeps says to everybody, hit that like, folks. These guys put a lot of work into this. Thank you, Peeps. Really appreciate that. Darren says, does your Jackie slab show spiking around MLB's Jackie Robinson Day or not so much? Spiking around MLB's Jackie Robinson Day. Spiking. I don't see what I think you'd be referring to. I don't think so, but I'm not sure what you're talking about, Darren. But interested to know what you're referring to. Mollico says that's the first year of Flawless. His best patch auto set with 2004 Ultimate does not have many today. He's talking about the Tom Brady. Thank you for that. Darren, any high-end Ohtani? I don't believe there's any. Let's have a search. I don't want to say for sure. There might be something Ohtani in the auction, but I don't believe so. I think that's how you spell it. Doesn't look like it. Hockey Card Investor says this should end by Saturday afternoon. Eric Perry says the 5-minute rule lends urgency to the format. I've seen some auctions that close all at once, go on till the morning, though. Yeah, same here. I've seen some go on till 3, 4, 5 a.m. before. Definitely. Let's just change the view here to look at the most expensive cards in the auction. Oh, those are the features. Let's go by highest price again. Thank you, Jeffrey Hart on the Ted Williams. Thank you, Sanderson on the Ted Williams. Eric Myers loves the limited logos. LeBron James is sitting at 400 grand still. So these are the guys at Slab Stocks were pitting the LeBron limited logos versus the Kobe essential credentials as which one, or credentials as to which card would sell for the most. And there's two cards that are kind of sandwiched in between, being the MJ and the Steph Curry. And I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all. Still no bids on the Charizard, the Gretzky. I believe Kobe's had another bid. Really, just some stunning cards in this. The Kobe logo man's at 140. I think that's where it was before as well. Eric Meyer says it's about 15 to 20% premium for the bright blue autograph in most high-end cards. 25 to 30 at the high end. That's interesting. And here, Eric says, put in your marker bids early. When the auction goes to extended bidding, you'll be glad you did. And then clarifying on the Jackie, MLB has the day where all players wear 42. Wondering if Jackie stuff goes up around IC. I see what you mean. I thought there was something on the card. I don't know the answer to that, Darren. I've owned my Jackie rookie, this card here. I bought this, I think, in 2013, and I've never considered selling it, so I've never really followed it on a day-to-day basis. Since Card Ladder's come out, and I do have it in my Card Ladder account, I do kind of watch it closer, but I can't speak to that. All right. Well, hey, we finally caught up on the comments for the first time in a while. Why don't we, Adam, go back to some of these matchups that not matchups, but where I kind of pulled out the card and the Card Ladder data and see if we see anything that jumps out at us. So here we have the SGC6, and it's not a perfect matchup, but we have the SGC6. We're going to refresh it here. Babe Ruth, still at 32.5, I believe. And I'm pulling out the Card Ladder PSA 5 data on this particular card. Pegs it in a PSA 5 at 55,200, which is based on an actual comp from April, whereas the SGC6 is at like 60% of that value. So here we have, I think so far, unless this gets bids later on, we have an issue where the slab matters to the bidders in the auction, which is the way the hobby works in many instances. Here's the Jackie PSA 6, the card that I own. 42.5 last time. It's up to $45,000, and Card Ladder pegs it at 49.2. So once the buyer's premium is added on, I believe you are basically right around there. So if there's any more bids, this will come up a bit higher. This card had sold for $100,000 back in April, but again, not all PSA 6s are the same, especially in 48 leaf when you have a lot of centering issues. My card is off-centered quite a bit left to right. I don't know if you guys can see that right there, but you can see it's off-centered left to right quite a bit. So it would probably sell at the lower end of a PSA 6 versus the mid or higher end. I see someone's talking. Card Porn says, PWCC working for you, not working on the West Coast under maintenance. Dr. Full says, yeah, site crashed on the East Coast here. Well, how does the site crash on one coast, not the other? Maybe it's back up, but seems to be working for me here on not too far east of the West Coast. So as far as I can tell, it's up and running. The Mickey Mantle PSA 7 was at $80,000 last time we visited this window. It's now at $90,000. And Card Ladder pegs it at 99. So again, pretty much bang on. Is that based on a comp? It is based on a May 6th actual sale. So pretty much where you'd expect that card to be. If it gets another bid, it might be higher. It would end up selling for more than the last card sold for, which is interesting to note. What should we look at next? How about the Willie Mays, which is a nice comparison to the Mickey Mantle, both from the same year, both in the same grade. Was it 50,000 last time we visited? Now it's at 55. And Card Ladder has it at 57. So I think with Buyer's Premium, it's already going to be a little bit higher than the last 7 that sold. Their last 7 is based on a comp in April. And look, one sold for $99,000 back in March. So again, I don't want to say that the card has come down in value based on these two comps, because we'd need to look at those two cards to see, was this one much nicer than this one? But we're not going to go into that depth right now.
Couple quick things, Jeremy. First off, we've been refreshing constantly, and we haven't seen anything yet as far as like issues with PWCC site. But that doesn't mean that other people aren't seeing it, but we are in the same time zone. I didn't know that what time zone you were in would really affect that. But the other thing is the Buyer's Premium here at PWCC is different than in other places in that, and I don't, maybe you know the exact things about this, but it's like a staggered Buyer's Premium. It's it's a lower percentage the higher the item goes, right?
Yeah. I'm actually not sure. I did not review that. So I saw it at one point. I don't remember it, so I can't speak to it as well. But I will hopefully next time we do one of these for the next premiere, we'll have I'm going to make a note to make sure to have the details on that so we can share that with everybody. The BP details. I'm going to run through some comments quickly to see what's going on with the site and other jurisdictions. Dr. Full says scheduled maintenance. Jeffrey Hart, site crash. Jay Mollico, site not working here either. That's very strange. I mean, it's working for me. It's working for us here in the Mountain Time Zone. Oh, it logged me out. Hello, Steve, sir. Peep says, in your opinion, over the last 25 years, has PSA always been top dog, or were there times when you thought differently? Good question, Peeps. For me personally, I'd say I've been consistent feeling for myself, not projecting this on anybody else, that PSA was I don't know how to put it, but my number one choice for grading company. But I think that you have to actually break it down, because there was a point in time when I would have thought potentially that BGS was better suited for modern cards and PSA for vintage. For me, PSA vintage all the way. BGS has threatened that for modern, and then PSA started making a run at modern cards, which worked for me, because for a long time I was very into uniformity in my collection and I wanted everything that way. But now I'll take a card. I will own cards graded by PSA, BGS, SGC, CSG. Yeah, pretty much those companies.
So this is, I want to address that, but real quick, this is more important. PWCC, I just got a text. PWCC has 2 sites. They have a site for those of us who are registered to bid and are actively able to bid, and then they have a site for those who are not registered and able to just look at what's going on. The one that crashed is for that second group. And so that's not good. It's still, it's still too bad that it crashed, but it doesn't actually affect anything having to do with the bidding. So
right. That makes sense. If you're registered to bid with them, you're seeing what you need to see. So
and that's why you and I aren't having any problems, because we've both registered to bid and we're actively bidding on things.
Well, that makes good sense. That's important to note, because it's important to note for the sellers of these cards that you are not, there's nothing that is stopping you from getting bids on your cards, because registered bidders are still accessing the site. That's really important, actually, that there's that if there is an issue with bandwidth with the server, that it's only going to impact people that can't bid anyway. So I think that's a great protection that they've implemented. So kudos to PWCC. Obviously, it'd be more fun for everybody watching if that site didn't go down, but to the consigners out there who consign these cards to PWCC, you are A-OK. That's very important. So thanks for that text you received, Adam.
Yeah, and the other thing is it's actually going to be up in the next few minutes anyways. So again, not ideal, because you'd like to just see everything happen flawlessly, but as far as people who actually are carrying to bid and that sort of thing, it's just it's not a factor in any way. The other thing I was going to say, just to go back to the PSA BGS thing, there was definitely a time in our hobby where BGS was viewed with a premium in many cards, many types of cards, and they probably still are in some things. They are still in some cards, but you go back 10 years, 15 years, yes, BGS was 100% the top dog, and people loved the subgrades. But yeah, over this last decade, it has definitely switched. And
I don't remember a time when BGS, maybe for modern cards, but not for vintage.
No. I'm not for vintage. You're right about that. But like it's not like something I'm like kind of like 100%. A lot of things were higher in BGS than they were in PSA. But you're probably right about vintage. For some reason I never did vintage with BGS. I just never did it. BGS to me has always been the modern card grader, but even in modern, it's now switched where PSA is definitely top dog. But it was not like that. Even 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was much closer. And then 10 years ago, BGS was king.
So I'm because when I was going to the national, I would always submit cards for grading at the national, and certain cards I would give to BGS. Usually it was like a cup rookie RPA, the thicker cards. But all my modern, even my like SP Authentic Future Watch autos, young guns in hockey, I always got them graded by PSA because I just preferred it. So I'm getting a call now from somebody. I can't take your call right now. I know you're watching. I can't take your call. I'm glad that I made that decision and I had my cards graded by PSA back then for them, because it worked out in the long run for me. And I didn't have them graded with a company that would have given the most value to the card at that time. I had it graded by the company that I wanted my cards to be uniform with. Adam, carry things for a second, okay? Please. I'm going
to tell you a story based on what hopefully Jeremy's on mute here. Jeremy, you can mute yourself, by the way, so that other people can't see. I can hear you right now, so make sure you mute yourself. Sorry,
say again.
So as I think about how I've graded through time, I'll tell you something that I did that may end up being some people would say is a mistake. Jeremy talked about uniformity. I graded all of my really rare Jordan inserts with BGS. I still like that they're in the BGS holder, but guess what? They're probably worth less than if I would have been smart like Jeremy and graded with PSA. But I didn't know that PSA was gonna come like really take over in so many ways, and that there would be such a premium. But for me, again, I actually don't care, because I still like the holder. I still like the subgrades. I don't have any plans on selling them. But if I was ever to sell them, there's this thought of maybe would I want to break them out and like put them and get them in a PSA holder? I don't really know. I'm not sure. I'm not going to really think about those things because I'm probably not going to ever sell the cards. But, a Jambalaya, a Slam Bams, a Playmakers Theater, a PMG Championship, a Gold Fusion, those big 5 cards, all graded with BGS. And I could have been smart like Jeremy. But I like BGS. I still like BGS.
So you can hear. Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Can you hear me? My mute button isn't working on my mic anymore. I'll have to use the one on the screen. That's
so
okay.
there. Yeah. Use the one on the screen. Yeah. Whenever I've been coughing, I've been doing that. So I tried to talk over you so nobody could hear your conversation, but I don't know if I did a good job.
It was Eric Myers who was just letting me know about the multi-site, but I said, yeah, we got it. We've been informed. So thank you, Eric, for reaching out. I do appreciate that. Peter Chow says, I remember BGS 9.5 consistently selling over PSA 10s before the PSA registry was relevant. Call it 15, 16 years ago. Very good. Very good. Thank you for that. Okay. Yeah. So we now understand why it wasn't working. So I'm going to ignore those comments, but thank you everybody for letting us know. And if it's well, that's why you watch the show here, guys. If there's any card you want to see right now, or one of the reasons why you're watching, let me know. We can bring it up. I just want to go through some more comments here. Yeah, so people didn't know where things were at. Obviously, it doesn't make a difference to the sellers of the card. So if you're a seller, this did not impact you at all. Card Porn says we are registered and it isn't working. So, okay.
He might have gotten logged out.
Oh, but did you bid on maybe? But he says, but did you bid on anything? Ashley asks. So, did Card Porn bid on? Yes, they say they're bidding on a few things. Well, this is, what I mean. All I'm going to say to that is PWCC is obviously on top of it. They've been reaching out, so hopefully this will be fixed next time. What more can we say about it? What more? Eric says there's 2 different sites: public viewing, those not registered and approved, and then the registered and approved site. Okay. Says there was an error in reflecting the active prices on public viewing sites, so we took it down to correct it. Should be up shortly for others to view. There you go. And I'm sure they will make sure that the extended bidding doesn't expire if that is the case.
And again, we didn't have any issues. And we are registered, and we've been refreshing. And
I haven't bid. I registered for bidding because I wanted to do this episode, but I have not bid on anything. So maybe it's, who knows? We'll leave it to them. We don't need to speculate anymore because we just do not know. Tim Witzman says, what's the LeBron Topps finest at right now? Let's go have a look for Tim.
There's at least 2. There might be 3. So definitely give him both of those.
Well, here we go. We'll bring them both up. There we go. These 2 are the 2 that came up. The 04 gold out of 5 is at $35,000, and the black refractor from 2005 out of 9 is at $20,000. Tim, there you go. Landon Bailey wants Cardport to call you. I doubt Cardporn's going to call you. Cardporn is very private about their identity. I doubt you're going to get a call, Landon. But if you do, let me know where it comes from, please. Love to know what area code that comes from so we can figure out who Cardporn is. Hey, very mysterious, that Cardporn account.
The Kobe Gold, again, the card that I'm watching closely, the Kobe Gold Prism from 2018 is now up to $90,000. So another really strong Kobe Gold, and obviously we're not done yet, but another really strong Kobe Gold price.
Sanderson Dora says, when grading first started, I thought it was ridiculous. I may have been wrong. Yeah, I mean, it started because people were buying cards from across the country, from across the world, sight unseen. That's why grading was created in the first place, so that you could have an opinion on your card. So I think it made a ton of sense. I really did. JSUT, who has to tell me how to pronounce his name on here, says the BGS 9.5 Messi. Let's have a look for you, JSUT. I'm just going to call you JSUT. You watch a lot. I appreciate it. And let's just have a look for you. Here we go. The Messi on the site that is working for us, the BGS 9.5, $70,000 right now. $70,000 for JSUT. Card Point says maybe it's a West Coast thing. Who knows? Karn in the house. Good evening, Karn. Excited to see where the LeBron 2003 limited logo ends. What a sick card. Yeah, we've talked about it a lot already. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Eric says you must be the high bidder, Karn. You're welcome, Tim. You're welcome. Guys, throw out if there's any cards you want to know where they're at. Put it in the chat. We will bring it up and take a look for you. Put it up on the screen so you can see it for yourself. Adam, anything you want to look at?
Man, I'm glancing through everything right now. And we have seen a lot of movement on a lot of things, but there are still cards. That X Fractor LeBron that I keep saying is one that is surprising me a little bit. It's still sitting at 47.5. The other the Kobe Limited logo, it's got a little bit of the K that's off, but the Kobe Limited logo 7 from 03 is still sitting at 30,000. That one surprises me a little bit. There's a Kobe that I keep going back and forth on whether I should bid on, and I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be poor otherwise. But it's still sitting. It's still sitting where it was at. There's so many cards. I do wish that some of these ones that are, between 12,000 and 20,000. There's a couple cards that I wish I would have put bids on earlier.
Well, here, I'm going to resort this by lowest first. We haven't done that. We haven't looked at the sort of the bottom end of the auction. Let's take a look here and see what's going on.
Yeah.
If anything, like what is this Luka here? This Luka fast break gold rookie year out of 10, $15,000. I mean, that seems low to me.
It is low
to me.
It is low. Yeah. I mean, all of these, I think a lot of us probably did the same thing. We're like, hey, I want to make sure I've got a shot at that. But then some of those cards have gone way past what I thought they would. And now I wish I would have followed my own advice and gone in and bid on a lot of these things earlier on, because there's a couple cards in here that I'd be bidding on right now.
So you got here's your purple autographics, which is a pretty cool card. 17.5 seems cheap. This card, we talked about it earlier, how it's kind of fallen from grace. I never liked this card. I don't know. I wouldn't collect it. Now here's a card I would collect. This has come on my radar recently. What's it at? 17.5 for a BGS 8.
It's cheap.
That's low, right?
It's super low.
I did look at this card. I believe, let's take a closer peek. I believe the lower left corner had an issue that made me kind of, you can see it there, but let's just zoom in here. Yeah, I think now I've seen, that can you see that to me, that's not worthy of an 8 grade because of that corner. And if it was just this piece here, but it's this line coming down here that really taints it for me. But to be fair to the grade, I believe the corner's got a 7.5. So I'll just sort of drag it down here. Yeah, corners are 7.5, edges an 8, surface a 9, overall an 8. I would rather have a card that's even more off-centered, but with that corner a little bit better. But still, it's still in that 8 holder, which means something to a lot of people. 17.5 seems low to me for this card at the moment. But hey, the auction is not yet over, and we're talking about it. Who knows? Maybe that'll cause some people to put some bids in. You never know.
Scroll down a little bit. I want to highlight an Adam type card. There's scroll down a little bit more. I think it's the next row. Oh, you know what? No, sorry. Scroll up. I forgot we were going the opposite direction now. My bad.
Yeah.
That Kobe Zion right there. Obviously we don't get another Kobe Zion dual autograph. Not that it's important to have those two guys on the same card, but since there's only one Kobe Zion dual autograph card, that's a really neat card. And in it, obviously in a great grade, both on card, right next to each other.
That's the only one. There'll obviously never be another if that's the only one. Wow. That is a pretty spectacular card, especially if Zion turns into being kind of in line with the old MJ, Kobe, LeBron sort of lineage. Okay, we have some comments, questions. People want to see some cards, so let's do that. Card Point says, hopefully PWCC will extend the bidding until they confirm there's no issues. Yeah, I think they would do that, but time will tell. Joel Garza, welcome, says, can you try and explain to me how much more rare the football Donruss Octa preview hollows are than the Octa hollow? I just don't know, Joel. I'm sorry, I do not know the answer to that. If anyone in the chat does, please go for it, and I'm pretty sure that you don't as well, Adam. Vincent says, can we see the Ronaldo BGS 10 sticker? Yes, we can. And Cardporn, you're up next on the Jordan BGS 9.5. Let's go to the Ronaldo for Vincent.
Did you say you wanted me to look up something, by the way?
No.
I just got a text from PWCC. They say that the non-approved site is now live. So,
okay, so there you go, guys. Should be back. Hopefully it's back up for everybody.
I'm hearing. I heard Cardporn's like his thoughts. I hate to say it's not that I doubt that, but everything that we're getting from PWCC is that there are these two sites, and they're still of the belief that the live one has always been good.
Let's let them work it out and see how it goes. So for you, Vincent, the Ronaldo sticker is at $100,000 right now, as you can see in the BGS 10. And let's go to Cardporn's request on the Jordan Clear in the BGS 9.5. You guys might. It's at 50,000 right now. Cardporn 50,000 for the BGS 9.5. Peeps, thanks us. For me, the slab is only important for authentication. I personally wish there was a cheap option for A only. Yeah, that would be a great option for sure. For sure. You're welcome. Said. You're welcome, Jay Sutt. You are welcome. Matthew says that's not an 8 for the Star 101. It wouldn't be a PSA 8 because of that corner. It would probably be more like a 6, I would think, but who knows? Peter Chow says, good God, that zoom is beautifully effective. Yes, it is. Vincent calls it a 2 to 3 in PSA, maybe a bit higher than that, Vincent, but I hear you. Cardboard says the 84 Star is great. Hopefully we can convince Nat Turner to get PSA grading them again. That'd be pretty cool. Sanderson wants to know about the autographed Ted Williams. Let's go back to that and have a look.
While you're looking that up, I'll tell you guys, those of you who subscribe to Basketball Card Fanatic know that I've interviewed Nat twice. And one time I interviewed Nat and I asked him about the 86 Fleer Jordan, and the conversation turned towards the Star rookie. And somehow because I'm the worst interviewer ever, apparently, neglected to follow up with a question about whether PSA would ever grade the Star card. And I probably had, I'm not even joking, Jeremy, I probably had a dozen people message me and say, how could you possibly have not asked him that question? And
well, I got good news, guys. I got good news. To anyone who's wondering that, Nat Turner will be a guest on Sports Cards Live on June the 5th. So be sure to tune in Saturday, June the 5th. I will have Nat Turner sitting right there where Adam is right now, joining me. So we will have him on and we'll ask the question, among many others, of course. Okay, back to that. So there you go for Sanderson. Mikey Big Book wanted to know about the Tom Brady. We'll go have a look at that. I'm also interested in that. I love that card. We'll pull up all the Tom Bradys, but there is 65,000 on the Brady Flawless for you, Mikey Big Book. Matthew Greenway wants to know how the Jordan Refractor dime is doing.
Oh, it's down to 45 seconds right now.
Oh, the clock is let's see what happens here. Let's see the clock. Oh, no, not anymore, man. Not anymore.
That was as low as I've seen it get, though. It got under a minute there for a sec.
That is low. Here you go, Matthew Greeny. 35,000 on the BGS 10 Jordan Refractor from 1993. Vincent, you are welcome. Rock Latex says, seems like generous 8 centering on the Jordan Star 101 as well. Feels like Beckett gerrymanders their subgrades sometimes. Tough to say. Eric Myers lets us know the public site is back up. There you go, guys. Cardporn confirms it's working. Good to go. There you go, guys. Very good to see. All right. Wow. We're at, okay, we've been going here for 2.5 hours now, Adam. That's gone super fast for me. I don't know about you. I'm good to keep on going. How's your time looking, Adam?
Yeah, let's go for like another 15 minutes or so. And then see where we're at. I'd love to stay on until we're done. But the reality is, like we talked about, even though the clock just got down under a minute, there's a chance this keeps going for an hour or more. And so, how are we doing on numbers of watchers? Do we have a bunch of people still watching us?
Yeah, we've been over 150 the whole time, which is pretty good. People are coming and going. Peter Chow asks, has anything ended? No, Peter, it's all going to end at the exact same time. Once there are no bids on any auctions for 5 minutes, it all ends. You can see the clock here, right there. If this ever hits 0, the auction will end for all lots. That's how this auction is structured. Chris Dwornik tells us that he once saw it get down to 35 seconds. Very interesting.
It's funny because it turns out like this little clock in the corner is like so important, right?
Oh, it's huge.
We should be watching that more than we're watching any of the cards.
I know. Well, we'll keep our eyes on it more. We'll focus on it a bit more now than we have been. Palm made 2879 says, which Panini colored parallels are the best value? Ice, disco, refractors. I don't know the answer to that myself. I just don't know the answer. Do you, Adam?
Yeah, I don't know anything about any of those things, to be honest with you.
If anyone in the chat does, please feel free to help PLM out. Yeah, Eric confirms nothing has ended at all, as we just clarified. Okay, let's go back to the lowest priced first and work our way sort of back. See if anything has changed. These seem to all be in the same place as they were before. I think something's moved. Something has moved. Well, the Skybox got a bid. It's at 20,000 now. That's a change. It was a 17.5 last time we looked. Nothing much happening with these cards. Here's a Topps Chrome LeBron James BGS 10, 25,000. I mean, not too long ago, the PSA 10s were doing 35, 40 grand, even 45 grand. Now the BGS 10 is sitting at 25,000. I kind of wonder why. Is it going to go up? What's this card? I'm curious to see what this card ends at. That'll be interesting, but we'll find out in due course. Nothing, not much action here. Let's go to the next page, see if anything jumps out at us. Troy Medina likes the disco.
There's we haven't mentioned this card at all either, but there's a second exquisite limited logos of LeBron. I guess this is the third. There's 3 exquisite limited logos of LeBron at this in this auction: 03, 04, and 05. The 05 has a really nice patch. It's not everybody's favorite patch, but it's a nice 3-color, and the quality of the patch is strong. That's not. I don't think that's bad considering where those usually go. That's an interesting one to watch. That maybe
I'll pull up all 3 of them in a sec, Adam. Remind me. I just want to. This is the BGS 8.5 Jordan Star 101. I don't know what this is. If that's card or extra something that's in the slab, a bit of dirt or something. That looks like it might just be a little fiber. That might be a flaw on the card, or it might be something in there. Not sure. I'm just kind of going through it, and we're in pretty high zoom here, so it might take a while to get there that way. But I want to look at the corners on this and then look at the grade. So that, you see some white there. Nothing crazy. That would definitely be welcome into my collection.
This level of zoom makes everything look like there's something going on. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. It's really high quality.
That's what you want. This corner looks. I mean, it's got a touch of white, but that's fine by me for my collection. Again, okay, let's zoom out. Look at the centering. So left to right, it's not bad actually.
No, especially for this card, that's almost as good as you're going to get.
Top bottom, it's a bit off, but we don't have subgrades, or we don't have subgrades. Interesting. See, this card to me at 27.5, that's a buy. Like this card is right up my alley. Right up my alley. If I was more on the ball, I'd be all over on this card, because I'm only recently interested in the Star 101. I was always a Fleer. 86 Fleer was the card, and I own a copy of that in my personal collection. I don't care about the rookie card debate. That's not even the thing for me. It's more about the importance and the significance of this particular card. That it would be a nice companion piece to the Fleer 86 rookie card. And I want one now. I want one of these now. And this is the one that I would love. I would add this for sure. What a great card. I'm very happy to see it. And I'm sad that I'm not in on the action, but that's okay.
So I don't know if you remember this, but I came across a really incredible collection that a friend had maybe a year ago. And he had a Star Jordan, He had a bunch of Star Jordans, but he actually had the XRC, and the card was just immaculately preserved. He basically kept it in a safe for years, and it was in a penny sleeve inside a lucite. Anyway, the reason that I tell you this is the card was perfect all the way around, and I looked at it, I was like, this thing is as good as it can get, except for almost every Jordan Star XRC is really off-centered, and so the subgrades came back. Subgrades were 7.5 on the corners, 9.5, 9.5, 9.5.
Wow.
What people don't know is that if you're centering or what's the other one? Centering or surface, the grade can only be 1/2 a grade higher than that. So it was an 8. It was an 8 with 3 9.5 subs, and I sold it to Frankie actually, so it ended up in a good place.
Great card. Great. Jeffrey Hart says the BGS 10 LeBron seems like a steal. I agree. Card Porn asks, do you think this style of auction is effective? Shouldn't it really be any lot ends if no bids in 5 minutes, not all lots? I mean, shouldn't and what the platform allows for are two different things. What we desire is sitting in our chairs, each of us individually, and what PWCC and the way this auction platform is programmed, and if the ability is another thing. It's also interesting to note and important to note that this is the first time they've done this auction on their own platform, so they could change things as time goes by. But to ask the question, I do think it's effective, and I don't have a problem with it. I never had a problem with it before. Notice the clock right now, guys, 43 seconds, 42 seconds.
I was just looking at that.
Notice the clock as I sort of just kind of finished replying to Card Porn here. So the question is, shouldn't it really be any lot ends if no bids in 5 minutes, not all out? Well, no, Card Porn, because there's no rule. There's no rule for this. 20 seconds on the clock, guys. 20 seconds on. There's gonna be, there it is. It's reset. It's reset. Oh, like we're sad or something. Trust me, the sellers are not sad. The sellers are not sad. So to ask, shouldn't it really be any lot ends? Why? Why should it be, Card Porn? But I'll just put that back to you because I'm not disagreeing with it, but I don't think there's a right answer to it. So it comes down to the platform's capabilities. It comes down to the strategy that PWCC has in mind, which, I mean, they're going to go with what is going to get the highest bids for their clients' cards, which I think is good business strategy. So I don't know, open for discussion. And I think it's an interesting question. Thank you for asking it. Adam, do you have a response to that?
There's multiple different, we talked about this at the beginning. There are two different ways to do extended bidding, and in this specific question, and it's either by a lot or by the whole thing, and your preference. I think if you're going to do 5 minutes, you kind of have to do the whole thing, because otherwise you can't get around to every auction that you're bidding on quickly enough. So, you know, the fact that they've kept it so short in between, I personally prefer it this way. What I will call attention to, though, is although we've suggested that this might go on for hours and hours, the fact that we just got down to 20 seconds is important, because it means you're not seeing as much bidding at this point. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't going to keep going. It still might go for a while, but the majority of these auctions, I can say, are done. The final bid has been placed on most of these auctions at this point. You know, as we look at the clock now, it's coming down to 3 minutes. This is how it's going. We're going to see a few more bids trickle in. We probably will reset a couple more times, but maybe it won't. And so, like I said earlier, like if you're bidding on something, the time is now. Don't wait too long at this point.
Well, you know, and you say that most of the final bids are, there's 139 lots. I wonder, because you're that's still an assumption. You know, you're speculating, but you're speculating with it's like an educated speculation, because you know these cards, a lot of them, you have a good idea for that, but we just don't know where, you know, we just don't know what's going through bidders' minds right now and how late they're willing to stay up. What I do like about is just staying on the Card Porn question is that the big improvement here versus what we've seen in the past with every other auction house is the 5-minute reset. Is a huge improvement, I believe, over a 15 or a 30-minute. Let's move on, though. Let's move on. Eric says both formats are effective. One doesn't win over the other. If you're going to win it, win it. Yeah, you're going to win it, win it. I like that comment. Troy says, go get it. Alberto says, I think the Zoom can affect prices. You literally see everything, which is what we want as buyers. So I think that's great. We got Joe Perot, my guy from Santa Cruz, California now. Good evening, Joe. Great to have you as always. Matthew Jones said, could it be over? We know it wasn't. And it's reset again. We were under 3 minutes a few seconds ago. We're back up to 5. Mollico says that the Trout is a steal too. Doctor says somebody bidding on different cards on a different card affects the card you're bidding on. Nope, but it extends the price. Certainly, it extends the time that it'll be out there, that'll be available for bidding though. Peter Chow, I'm sure that PWCC has examined what methodology will max out prices for their clients. I agree with that. PWCC they're smart people. Peeps agrees. Sharpshooter, what's to stop somebody PWCC from bidding on something in order to keep the auction going? I mean, what's to stop them? Rules, ethics, whatever, agreements not to bid on auctions that their employees are forced to sign before they start working there, all sorts of things like that. But listen, go ahead, Adam. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, that same question would be applicable to any major auction house.
Sorry, Adam, I just wanted to jump in and say, because you make a good point, if you're in the hobby, you know that this comes up with every consignment seller, on eBay all the time, and it's just kind of like, what's to stop them from not doing that too? What's the motivation to do that? Because then they may have to buy the card.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, they really don't want to have to, they don't want to have to say they vetted somebody and then and their credentials, and then that person didn't pay. They don't ever want to tell their consignor that. And so, I don't, that's not something that I'm particularly worried about. But, I do want to push back a little bit. As I look through, Jeremy, the majority of these items have been where they are for a while. I think most of them are done. I feel really strong in saying that. And I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's 10% that are going to change, or but you look through right now, like this is basically the ending price on a lot of it. Now, your point though would be a lot of it. There may still be significant changes on some of these things, and that's for sure true as well.
Yeah, I don't know the answer, man. Either opinion is speculative at this point, but I'm sure you're right. I'm sure we're looking at 139 lots in this auction. I'm sure many of them are done, but I've got to think many of them are not. Because the Wilt here, let me just show you this Wilt Chamberlain card here. I can't imagine that this card here is going to sell for $55,000. And the reason I say that is because we look at Card Ladder here. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm gonna retract that. The last couple. So now this is the PSA 8. Yeah. So no, I retract that. The last couple sold for 48 and 57, and before that, you had one up at 144, which is definitely an outlier. And then 77. This was on March 30th, so it was kind of right when things were cooling down. So I take that back. This could definitely be the final bid on that card. Let's have a look at some of these Card Ladder comparisons, because that'll give us a bit of an idea of where the market was at before on these cards.
Hey, Jeremy, while you find one that fits that, let me just tell you real quick. We talked pre-show about mentioning the indices. Let me just mention the indices real quick.
Yeah, the indices. Yeah, so yeah, go for it.
So Basketball Card Fanatic measures three specific indices of basketball cards. The first is vintage, and vintage is defined in the indices as anything pre-1993. And so the Chamberlain rookie is one of the cards that's in the basket. That's in the index. What we've seen over the course of the last 6 months from the vintage and from the pre-modern indices is really like unprecedented. The vintage basketball has been one of the most consistent places to put your money really in all of sports cards over the course of the last 2 decades. It basically never moves except for just slightly up, right? But this last 6 months, we've seen vintage basketball take off in a way that is way higher than any other and than either of the other two indices. So that Chamberlain right there that Card Ladder showing hit 100 and something thousand, that was characteristic of all of the high-end rare vintage basketball, high grade stuff. And it's not that it's like come crashing down. Well, it is like that, except for I like how Jeremy thinks about it. If you think about it in like terms of like 6 month or 1 year increments, it has this wonderfully like healthy growth. But if you look at like the highs and the lows, this is like the nature of thinly traded assets. So that Chamberlain right there, I'm not surprised that Jeremy was thinking that it should be a lot more expensive, because it probably was 2 months ago, but now it's it's something that's way higher than it was 6 months ago, but not as high as it was 2 months ago.
Thanks for speaking about the indices. I did tease that earlier. The Charizard PSA 10 is still at 200,000. So this is a card that, I believe if this ends at 200, this is the lowest we've seen in quite some time, which is why I think there might still be bids coming. Could be wrong. This is a card that there's been high speculation that this is a $1 million card by year end. If that's still the speculation, it's going in the extremely in the wrong direction. There was a very well-known transaction, very well-publicized transaction where I believe the value put on it was more like double this. So tough to say. Let's see what the history of this card is. We have 1, 2, 3. We have several data points here. 350,000 on April 27th, 250 on April 26th, 311 March 28th, 400. 350. It hasn't sold for 220 here, probably where this one is at with a buyer's premium. It hasn't sold this low since last October. So are there more bids coming on this card? Very well, there could be. We will find out soon enough, I suppose. I'm going to go to some comments, Adam, unless you have something quick to jump in with.
No, the only thing I would say is just that you absolutely could be right. You just gotta get a couple people getting in there and bidding real quick. The thing that gives me pause on that though is that so many of these cards have just been sitting at that specific price for a while, and it just seems like those times where it got down to like 20 seconds that you would see people jumping in and they didn't. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see what happens.
Well, Karn jumps in. He says this Charizard copy is considered weak by the Pokemon community. So again, and that's kind of nice to know that people are really scrutinizing the card themselves versus just looking at the grade, which I like to see the hobby doing that. Peter says the risk for the auction houses is if they ever lose the faith of the buying community, they won't be able to run these lucrative auctions. Very, very good point. Rodman asks, can you sort by activity? Unfortunately, Rodman, we cannot. We can only sort by, the sorting is quite limited right now to 5 or 6 options. It's by 4 options: highest price, lowest price, newest year, oldest year. And I actually was hoping that you'd be able to look at them all in one view and just a continuous scroll. So maybe they'll update that in the future. Joe Perot says, thoughts on the Kobe Zion auto? You must have just missed that, Joe. We were talking about that not too long ago. Adam, you want to refresh your thoughts for Joe on the Kobe Zion dual auto? Because obviously Joe thinks it must be special too.
Yeah. Hey, Joe. What we did is we sorted from the lowest items to the highest, and we're looking, kind of closer at some of these cards that are lower in the auction, and that's one that really stood out to me. Honestly, there's several cards that are at the low end that I wish I would have put in an early bid, and that Kobe Zion is one of them. If you believe in Zion, then that card's really important because it's going to be the only card that he and Kobe ever signed together. It's a good looking card. I love it because it came out of a low end product. It's from Zion's rookie year, 2 on-card autographs. But if Zion ends up being, if he gets injured and he flames out or whatever, maybe it won't end up being a big card. But if Zion ends up being an all-time great, that'll be revered as one of the great sort of multi-signature cards that are out there. Again, I don't have one of these, but that card for 17.5 seems like a really good deal. Jeremy pointed out the Luka Gold optic fast break at 15. That seems just crazy low to me, considering how Luka's stuff usually goes. And then the other one that I wanted to point out was we mentioned that purple LeBron. Jeremy, since we mentioned it, it's actually jumped from 17.5 to 25. So that's one of the items that's continuing to see bids.
Yeah, good call. Last time we did look at it, it went from 75 to 20, now to 25. So it means it's had a couple more bids, which to me, that's a diamond in the rough sort of card, under the radar. Because when I scanned this auction for the first time, I didn't even look twice at it because I didn't realize it was at a 25. Had I looked at it and put it all together, I might have paused more on it. Jeffrey Hart says the Chamberlain was so he's talking about the Wilt that sold, the PSA that sold for like $145,000 was the Superior, PWCC Superior, which I believe is the top 5% of the population. Thank you for clarifying that, Jeffrey Hart. Karin says lots of white on the back of the Charizard, and the certificate number starting in the ones is looked down upon. Let's go back to that. And look at the back of that card. We know we can go by highest price because it's at $200,000 right now. So here it is. Let's take a look at the back of this card, and we can use PWCC's technology to zoom in and see how much white there is. So I don't know, there's some right there, a bit of a blemish right there, something going on there. There's some white along the edge. There's something right there, something right there. There's an issue right there.
Hey, we're under a minute again.
Under a minute, guys. Under a minute. High alert. Let's see how low it gets until there's another bid placed. So Karn knows his stuff. Yeah, Vincent confirms quite a bit of whitening on the back. No problem, Joe. Just happy to have you, buddy. You bet. You're catching some, and you're welcome for the redo. It's now in orange fire color. Orange fire color. We're under 30 seconds, everybody. See, if I was bidding, I don't know what my strategy would be. Would I bid at the beginning of it just reset? Would I be at the beginning of the 5-minute counter or the end? I might be like putting my bid early and just try and scare people off, and then cross your fingers at 5 minutes ends. It's an interesting dynamic in psychology to navigate this new auction platform and this auction setup, really, with this 5-minute reset.
So here's my strategy for next time. I'll just tell everyone, not that it's smart. I don't know if it's smart at all, but what I'm going to do next time is I'm going to go in and I'm going to place 1 million early bids. Anything that I think I might have any interest in, I'm going to place an early bid on, which may be like every basketball card in the entire thing. And then when it comes down to it, I'm going to wait until, and this goes against what I was saying about most of the prices being done. I would wait until like nowish when the extended bidding starts to get under 10 seconds is when I would start placing those bids. If I really wanted something, because then you don't, then maybe somebody might go to bed thinking, oh yeah, I've been the leader forever. I don't need to worry about it. I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to have won it. And then they're going to want, they're going to wake up and find out that somebody at the 11th hour came in and outbid them.
If you're an active bidder on this auction, it's so important to watch that clock though, because you could be dozing, you could go to the bathroom, you could do a bunch of different things and just miss it, and then it could all end. So just tough to. I'm glad we're seeing. This is the first one, which is really cool. This is kind of PWCC has been a serious seller on eBay for a long time. I remember before I even knew who they were, I was tracking sales of cards, building my own sort of vintage card price database going back to the late 2000s. And I noticed that, boy, this pre-war card collector, they get like, whose collection was this? I didn't even know at the time they were a consignment seller. That's how long ago this was. And they've been doing this for so long. They obviously have a place in the hobby. They're very well known. And the fact that this is their first off eBay auction, and here we are providing commentary and analysis, and we've had 150 or more people watching the whole time. This is kind of a cool thing. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us. I hope you're all finding this entertaining. I hope you're enjoying our takes, whether you agree with them or not. Really just happy to be doing this. I think it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, well said, Jeremy. I'm grateful that you invited me to come be part of it, because it does feel like semi-historic, right? Like it's a big moment. I want to go back real quick to something that we were talking about a lot in the chat earlier, the people who were talking about the site being down. I've already seen notifications in different places where people are talking about how everything was down on the PWCC site. It's a reminder that sometimes misinformation it definitely like gains steam quickly. And in this case, it wasn't totally misinformation, but it was a case where
it was incomplete, though. It was incomplete information.
It was incomplete, and you can understand why people thought what they thought. But those who were bidding never actually were unable to log in. We've been in this the whole time and refreshing constantly and have had no issues. So I don't believe that they've had any sort of outage that is significant. Just for those who have been trying to view the prices but not bid, that's the only issue that they've had.
So is this card not an absolute steal, relatively speaking, relative to the PSA 10? The PSA 10 is at 200,000. The BGS 95 is at 70,000. If you were watching, guys, we just inspected the back of this card. This card is much nicer than the PSA 10. It's got Mike Baker's blessing on it that it's a really nice card. I mean, I'd rather own this than the PSA 10, and you're ahead $130,000. You can get 3 of these for the price of one of those. That's something. That just speaks to how people view the slab.
Hey, Jeremy, timer.
17 seconds. We haven't seen it below 17 seconds yet, guys.
This is the lowest we've gotten. Let's see.
There we go. Oh, too funny. Okay,
it is
I'm gonna go to some comments here quickly. Let's see. Darcy in the house. Good evening, Darcy. What is the number one card? The number one card, Darcy, that we're kind of watching right now, I gotta go, Adam, and give it to the most expensive card in the auction, which is this one right here, the rookie year LeBron James limited logos with this in a BGS 95 with just a stunning patch. Darcy, this is the one that I think we've been looking at the most. Facebook user says, I agree, the timing doesn't permit sniping, so no advantage to waiting, really. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. The Cross-Up Collector, first time live. Hey, thanks for joining Cross-Up Collector. And again, if you just got here, you're new to the channel, welcome to Sports Cards Live. I go live with a guest every Saturday, bringing you guys I'm going to say it, the best guests in hobby content week after week. Going strong for over a year now and continuing to go strong. I'm booked booking now into August already, so lots of great guests to come. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and just glad to have you along for the ride. Moloko says it's a war of attrition almost. Yeah, who can stay up the latest, right? Who can stay up the latest? Henry says, I thought we were in a dip in sports cards. Can't afford any of these cards. Even in a dip, when you're coming off a mountain like we were on, even a dip is very unaffordable for most. Tony Sin says the world's #1 show. Hey, we'll take that. Thank you, Tony. Moloko says if this is a dip, give me a ladle. Karn says I don't agree with the idea, but general market consensus, the PSA graded easier with certain. Okay, that's just a timing issue. To a question that I didn't bring up earlier. Joe Perot says, is that the one Sasha T traded for? Tough to know, Joe, if Sasha T consigned his PSA 10 first edition Shadowless Charizard to PWCC. Just don't know. I doubt it. He was pretty much, from what I saw in Sasha T's content, he was banking on that card. He was planning to hold it till it was worth $1 million, hopefully by the end of the year. for his sake, hopefully it gets there, but it's not looking that way tonight. Joe says not the exact one, but the same issue. Yes, Joe, it is the same card. Sorry, it is. Troy says Heritage Jordan PSA 10 86 Fleer, $300,000. I don't know what that is in relation to, Troy. Sorry. Elusive Man, by the card, not the slab. Smart guy. Elusive Man, smart guy. And Karn says, crazy, isn't it, Jeremy? The BGS 95 copy looks substantially better. Yeah, Karn, substantially better. I mean, if the crossover game was something people were willing to do and take risk on right now, and I know people are apprehensive towards that, what a candidate that would be to cross to a PSA 10, because it's got Mike Baker's blessing on it. It's a true gem, all 9 5s, and to me it looked nicer than the PSA 10. How could it not cross? But as Vincent says, sadly nowadays people rather buy the grade than the card. A lot of people buying cards at the high end of like this are doing it that way. So Henry says, bought all my 90s insert Jordans and Kobe from PWCC. Best purchase, 0607 EX Jambalaya Jordan. Congrats on that, Henry H. It's a wonderful card. I'm a proud owner of a copy as well. We're card brothers on that one. Greg Novus in the house. Good evening, Greg. And Troy says, tonight's also auction $300K for the Jordan just gabbled. What do you mean just gabbled? There's another one online somewhere that sold for $300 for a Jordan PSA 10. Let's see what the Jordan PSA 10 is at in this auction. I thought it was at $300. It's at 380. But it's got the above average designation, which means, I think that puts in the top 30% of the population, the eye appeal population, according to PWCC's experience in seeing these cards over time. And I have no doubt that they've seen more of these than anybody else has. Price, let's go by price highest first. Adam, while you are browsing, if something comes to mind that you want to bring up, let me know.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is watch for those things that are moving. I think I probably have half of the items right now memorized as far as like what they're currently at. That might be an overstatement. I don't know, but but a pretty good percentage of them, I know what they're at right now. One that I noticed moved a little bit was the Jordan jersey from 97, the upper deck jersey, which is just a fantastic card. Another is the LeBron Finest 04. It jumped to 25. The Jordan jersey is one that and the timer just got down to 40 seconds and then it jumped back to 5 minutes again. The Jordan jersey is a really special card because it's from the first game jersey set. So that's a killer card. The 93 Finest Refractor we haven't talked about. That's the very first refractor basketball card. It's a BGS 10. It's at $35,000. And then I'll tell you, the one that we haven't talked about that's a personal favorite of mine is actually it's the story from where I get my name, the 27 guy. It's this card. I watched one of these pulled in person. It's the 2000 Upper Deck Legends legendary jersey autograph of Michael Jordan, numbered to 23, and it's a PSA 10. And it's at $37,500. If I was a Jordan autograph guy, that would be one of the main Jordan autographs that I would really search after. And it's been at $37,500 for a really long time. But if anyone's looking for a great autograph, if you've bid on it already, and if you have the ability to bid on it, that's one that I would point out to you.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Sammy says, in this auction, these bidders have to pay since they're pre-approved and can't back out with bidder's remorse. I mean, that's the goal with these things, is that, yeah, if you bid, you pay. And if you don't, you're probably going to be blacklisted from bidding in the future. So I would like to think. Hockey Card Investor lets me know, longtime viewer, first-time commenter, any brand slab is fine in my books if it's a card I want or need. Yeah, fair approach, Hockey Card Investor. And glad to have you as a longtime viewer. You've been commenting tonight a few times, though, so great to have you commenting. Great to have you. Oh, Troy Medina was saying Heritage Auction sold one for $300. Got it. Thank you very much. And Andrew knows the cert number on Sasha's Charizard, Sasha T's Charizard, so we know it wasn't that one.
Hey, Jeremy, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
There's most of the things that we're looking at are single card items, but one item that's not a single card item is a wax box. It's a hockey wax box, 1980.
120 grand. It's at 120 grand, right?
Yeah, 1979-80 OPC. 40. It says 48 count packs with Wayne Gretzky rookie back. I'm not sure what that means. I'd have to read it. I'm sure it says in the listing, but is that what I think it is? Is that a wax box for?
Yeah, that's this guy here. Yeah, that's an unopened box of 79 OPC. They were for that's exactly what this is. And what it must mean is that there's one pack in there where you see Gretzky on the back.
Well, that's huge. I mean, that seems like if you were a hockey collector, that would be like the mecca, right?
Yeah, I forget how many cards are in each pack, but it's probably like 12 or 14. You were getting lots of cards in the packs back then. So, you're guaranteed one for sure in this particular box, and you might get 2 to 3 even. There could be 2 Gretzky rookies in there, but at this point you're kind of buying it. It's unlikely it's going to be a PSA 8, 9, or 10. It's probably going to be like a 6 or a 7 out of the pack. You're buying it for the artifact that is this unopened box, in my opinion. I think it's a cool piece, but it's not the nicest box design if you're going to display it as a box itself, but it's still a pretty cool piece.
Especially where it's on the back of the pack. It's got wax on it, and it's probably not even. It might not even be a 5 or a 6. It might even be less than that because of the stains or whatever. But to me, like being a card guy, like just appreciating the history of the cards, like to have a pack that's unopened that has Gretzky viewable from the outside, that seems really, really cool.
It's like having an 86 Fleer with Jordan on the back. I just want to mention that Bobby Burrell, hockey historian, confirms there's 15 cards in the pack. So I just did it. That's 1.81 Gretzky rookies per box. So you're likely to find 2. If you know there's one in there for sure, I think your chances just went up that there's 2, but you never know for sure. But very cool. Very cool.
Bobby, was that set? I know there's a lot of sets like this where if you can tell who's on the front and the back of the pack, you can kind of tell who's in the middle because they had consistent ordering of the cards. Is it a situation where people could know that there was only one Gretzky, or is it,
I don't think so.
That seems really cool to me. I didn't realize the set was that big though. It must be a pretty big
396 cards in the set. So that's the way they were up until I think they reduced it in 85, 86 with the Mario Lemieux year. It was down to I think 264 cards, and then they went back and forth. But as Andrew Bell points out, the back card would or could have gum on it. So it depends if it doesn't, what side the gum is on. I'm not exactly sure, but that could hurt the card for sure. I want to go back to Greg's question here. Opinion on Kirby Doc. How much would you purchase a raw clear cut young gun? I don't know, Greg. I don't follow raw clear cuts, and I don't really follow Kirby Doc. I wouldn't. He's not on my radar. I'll just put it to you that way. Okay. Hockey Card Investor says, great to be here. Not much hockey content on this YouTube thing. Well, glad to have you. There's not much. There's only, I think, 3 hockey lots in this auction, and there's 2 Gretzky rookies in this one, but we've looked at them all at this point in time. Bobby says one of the packs have Gretzky showing through the back. That's right. Joe Pro, what's Adam's take on the greening on the Kobe Chrome? Looking a bit hulkish.
Joe, I appreciate the question. One thing that's funny about me is I actually am colorblind. And so the Kobe rookie is a funny one for me because people always talk about the greening. And I've heard people say things like Jeremy said, where there's more green on the bicep. I don't see it. So to me, it all just looks fine. But to be honest, when I think about the Kobe Chrome, I don't know that we know. I still don't know that we know exactly what causes the greening. I've heard real people who think that they know everything about it say that it has to do with light. But we know that cards have come out of unopened packs green. People swear that it's humidity. I don't know. I just know that at some point a lot of them are going to turn green, and so to me, it's not the biggest deal. Especially because I can't see it, but I know to other people it's a huge deal. So That's
look at this. Look at this PSA 9 copy of it here. There's like, this is like a, is this a top? No, it's a chrome. There's no greening on this copy at all. Because usually you see it in the arms, you can see it in the legs and the shin here. And sometimes I've noticed it kind of in this area as well. It's a PSA 9 due to centering, it looks like, but wow, what a great copy as far as lack of greening goes. If I zoom out to the 4 chrome Kobe's in the auction, you see the difference. Like, look at how clear that is. The other 3 are all refractors. Is this a refractor?
No, that's not a refractor.
This is a refractor, sorry. These 3 are refractor, 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 non-refractor. So this one has significant greening going on. This one looks pretty good. This one looks beautiful. And this one has greening going on as well. You can see it. Let's just pull this one up quickly, the 9.5.
Is there as much greening in the 9.5 as there is in the base card?
Tough to say. Here you see it in the legs. You see it all over his upper body. It kind of stops at his wrists and looks good. You see it in his head. You see it over here on this teammate, and you see it on the floor as well. That's the 9.5. Let's go take a look at the base card, which is this guy here for the BGS 10 for comparative purposes. So here, I mean, this is pretty greeny as well. You see it, look right here on the defender, the teammate, all in his head. It cuts off at the wrist, the same as the other card, which is very interesting. You see it in the legs, you see it on the floor.
See, what I see, what stands out to me is that the jersey is so much darker in the base card than it is in the refractor. The refractor, the jersey just is a lot lighter, and I don't know if that's how the base card should be. Because I'm colorblind and I've learned to like deal with it. I kind of just unintentionally ignore things that like don't stand out to me. And so, but that is one thing that I've always noticed is that the jersey's a lot lighter in the refractor.
Well, look at the PSA 10 refractor has minimal greening. I only really notice it here in the bicep, a bit on the lower elbow, but his head is clear. For the most part, his forearm is clear. You don't see any greening in the legs, nor do you over here. The floor looks good. So this PSA 10 refractor, $170,000 right now, looks pretty darn good to me. As far as, I would definitely purchase that one over this is a base card, so you can't compare. But that's a decent copy.
Didn't you say the 9 was the best, though? Didn't you say the 9 had the best color?
The 9 is not. Yes, I did. Yes.
So in your opinion, the 9's the best, the 10's the second best, and the 9.5 is the worst, actually.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, the 9 is definitely the best. Definitely the best. As far, and I mean, I'd even prefer it because the greening is important to me, the lack of it. So I'd probably rather have this 9 than this PSA 10, even though this is the Lighthouse label and everything. Now, the centering here, you can tell it's got a left to right shift, which is going to offend some people. But to me, surface is more important than centering. And by surface, I don't just mean like surface damage. I mean the overall presentation of the print quality, the gloss, and then whatever dimples, scratches, that kind of thing you might have. So to me, the PSA 9 is the winner. I'm going to go to some comments, Adam, but go ahead.
I was just going to say, to me, the centering on the 9 looks fine. I mean, it really does. I wouldn't blush at that at all. And again, going back to buying the card, not the grade, go grab that card for 45 instead of the one for 170. Not saying the one for 170 is bad. I get why people are all in on that, but if for the collector, go grab that one for 45.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on that, for sure. Okay. Hockey cards, investor. I've seen a lot of packs with Gretzky on the back. It's consistent. Okay, good comment. Dallas Christensen, welcome, says, what's RAC mean? Rack, every individual. Oh, rack pack. Every individual gets I don't know what that means. Sorry.
RAC. I don't know what that means.
It's okay. He can clarify, or we can skip it. Greg Novice says, yeah, you're welcome. Landon Bailey. So he's saying that real asset, it is BBCE. So baseball card exchange. Steve Hart, the owner of that company, who is the leading authenticator of unopened product, will actually open the box, look at the packs, make sure they're not tampered with, and then identify if there's a Gretzky showing through. You don't see it through the box, you see it through the wax paper. Just so basically corroborating what Landon is saying, he goes on to say, okay, right, so not actually truly unopened, I suppose. Yeah, it's been inspected, which I think you kind of want it to be. If you're putting that kind of money in, you want to know that those packs are not tampered with. I think it's really the best way to go. Troy agrees the 9 is the choice. Karn Rai, by the way, just an interesting talking point, that Charizard Top Sun no number, so exact copy. So this exact copy sold for $500,000 in the January Golden auction. So the exact same card. So you're talking about this exact serial number and everything, Karn. If that's what you're talking about, that's pretty interesting. Let's see what it's at right now. I think it was at 160 for a while. Oh, we gotta hit the X over here and see what the Top Sun is at. 160 still. So if someone's taking a loss on that card, if they paid $500 for it in January. Yeah, too bad for that seller. Card Porn says we've been talking to someone from PWCC on Instagram. If you had any feedback about any issues you experienced for this auction, send him a message. He's very accommodating. Thank you, Card Porn, for sharing that. Landon ZB Cards on Instagram. Guys, check that out. If you want to make a comment to PWCC, reach out to Landon, and he can help as they move forward with this format.
20 seconds.
20 seconds on the clock, guys. Let's focus on that for a moment. Let's see. I think we got to 13 last time. We're going to hit 10. Or did we get to 7 maybe? I forget. How low is it going to go? Someone's about to make a bid. You got to know it.
Uh-oh. This might be it, Jeremy. It's done. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
That was a last-second bid. A very last-second bid. I love it.
I mean, and you got to think this clock might be a second or two behind for us to see, just in terms of the way things run. But okay, Bobby Burrell, 14 cards in the OPG packs. Typing in the dark, 10 cards and 79 tops. So it's not 1.8 Gretzky's per box. It's 14 times 48 is 686 divided by 396 cards in the set. 1.73 Wayne Gretzky rookies in every box of 1979 OPG. Real Asset Collector joined late. General thoughts on new PWCC premium auction versus recent Golden. We're still learning Real Asset. We're still learning until this is over and we see the closing prices, which you have to put some of that on the state of the market where things are at. But so far, the platform, I'm enjoying the platform, and I got to think I'm navigating as much as anyone else is tonight. So I'm enjoying the platform. I think it looks really nice. Viewer username. Thank you, Andrew Bell. That was the viewer's username. Karn Rai confirms it's the exact same card. Yeah, that's something for sure. We got pretty close to zero, Adam, and we're half an hour past when you said let's go another 15 minutes. You must be getting tired. It's almost 11. Why don't we go for 10 more minutes? We'll call it off at 11 o'clock our time. Can you make it 10 more minutes, Adam?
Yeah, let's make 11 o'clock our deadline. And I mean, it doesn't get any closer to what we just got. But you know what? Since then, there's been at least one more bid. In fact, there's been at least 2 more bids now. So it's a good thing that somebody put in that last second bid, because at least a couple of other people have bid since then. True
story. FDA by about FDA like times 5. I love the Curry. If you're talking about the National Treasures, I love that card. We will know when this auction is over, when this clock goes to 0, and I bet those words change to auction is over. Until then, this thing is going to go. It's going to keep on resetting to 5 minutes. Anytime there's a bid on any auction, there's the Curry. It's at 360. I think that's gone up. Has it not? You're muted. Sorry. Yes, the prices reflect right away as soon as a bid is placed, FDA.
I keep coughing, and so I cover my mouth.
But no worries.
But yeah, I think it was at 340. I think you're right that it did see a bump.
So I love that Curry card. I mean, like all of us, I wish I would have bought one at the National in like 2013 or 14 when I had the shot at it for $5,000.
I once was a middleman for two people who were trading that Curry card. One had one with a slightly nicer patch, and so he traded. So they both sent me their Curry 9.5 NT RPAs, and one sent $1,000 as well. And my whole job was to just send it to the other guys. But at the time, it was like, I mean, it felt like a huge deal at the time when they were like $15,000 cards each, and I was like, wow, this is huge. Who knew that I was holding like $1 million worth of cards at that point?
I'm just wondering, did the magazines fall off your wall?
Yeah, they totally did. They made a loud sound when each of them fell too. So
too funny. What Joe Perot, would you guys compare the two Jackie Robinson Leafs, the PSA 6 versus PSA 7, in terms of value and actual card? Well, let's have a look at them.
That's fun.
Have a look at the Jackies.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
Jeremy, I like how you go through the cards and compare them. I think you do a really good job of it. I'd love to see how you compare these two.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. So we have the 7 and the 6. So let's look at let's just open these up in some new windows. I got a ton of windows on the go here, but that's okay. So this is the 7. Let's just zoom in. On first glance, so you got a left to right centering issue, but for the issue for the card, not that bad. This card has great focus. It's often an issue where you'll notice sort of misalignment in the color plates, but the registration on this card, on this copy, looks really nice to me. I mean, you see a few surface blemishes, but just nothing that's offensive. You see some stuff right in the middle here, comment on the card. I mean, I could do a real detailed review by zooming right in, and having a look at the edges, the corners, and really looking for any flaws that really stand out. I don't see much. You see a bit of a registration issue right here. You see that reddish line. To me, that says a bit of an offset on the printing plates, but still much better than when the blue and the yellow are off. I mean, I like this copy. It's the PSA 7. Let's have a look at the 6. So the first thing I notice is just how much brighter this one is versus this one. The white border is brighter. It seems sharper. So there must be something, the corner, you got a bit of a softer corner there. Softer corner there. See, you don't have that red line coming down the face here. So the registration, the focus is better on this copy. When I thought the other one was strong. But just to compare again, see this red coming down his face here. That's a registration issue. Nice, sharp alignment between the blue and the yellow plate. But the magenta plate probably is the one that not messed up, but sorry guys, doesn't give you the perfect alignment here. He gives you that red right down his face. So again, it's a minor thing. It depends how important that is to you. But for me, this is important stuff. I look at this all the time. So the 7, I don't know. I might prefer the 6. The 6, it's a brighter card. It has less of a registration issue, but the corners have a bit of a issue right up there. That's definitely got a bit of a ding. The lower corners, that one looks good.
What about centering top to bottom?
Yeah, the centering on the 6, it's off. It's shifted down and to the left, right? Whereas the 7 is shifted down and to the right. They're both beautiful cards. There's more we can't see, so it's tough to say. But I mean,
is it worth checking the back real quick?
Yeah, take a quick look at the back. So again, you've got these sort of waxy marks, or I'm not sure what they are, or it's actually the ink maybe coming through the back to the front, or from the front to the back. You see that a lot on some of these vintage cards. the back on that one, it's pretty nice. I bet we're going to see a similar thing on the 6. No, it's not there. That those marks are not there on the 6.
So
I like the 6 better, man. I like the 6 better. I don't mind the corner. I don't mind those corners. It's got something going on up here on this top middle edge.
yeah, that top edge. But besides that top edge, and then the top corners that you're talking about being softer, all of the little things are better on the 6. Well, and I actually think top to bottom, the 7's better too, on the centering, just a little bit. But it's really those corners, though.
I think it's this top right corner that offends me the most on this card. Otherwise, the 6 is the winner for me. I own a 6. I'm holding it right now. I'm looking at it. I mean, my 6 is beautiful. The biggest problem is centering. It doesn't. It's got a little bit of those black marks, sort of. I know you guys can't see it, but it's got a little bit of those black marks on it where I think ink came through. The registration is like check out, if you guys can see this, I'll just take off check out the registration on it. Like it's darn near perfect, which is what I love about it. But the centering, the left to right,
yeah,
pretty bad, right? It's probably, what is that, 80-20?
Yeah.
But this card, I bought it. I was set up at the Expo in Toronto, 2013. Someone came to my booth and had this card, and I bought it off them at the show for 3,000 Canadian dollars. I did all right. Doesn't matter how off-centered it is. I did all right on that card.
It's fun to look back at some of the things that we purchased, over the course of the last, in your case, the last 30 years, and just say, what did I pay for this and what's it worth now? And it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go through some comments, Adam, then we're going to wrap this up. We've been going for 3.5 hours. FDA, how long is extended bidding for? After every time there's a bid, it resets to 5 more minutes, so it could go on indefinitely. Hockey card investor, who's excited for the content to come out of Dallas? I am. I'm excited for Dallas content. Definitely am. Bobby Burrell picks the PSA 6 as well. And Victory Investments, who's at the Dallas show. I saw him driving there earlier today. Likes the 6 too. And I said to him, take some pics. Take some pics for us. Take some video. Let's get some content from Dallas for all of us who wish we were there.
I want a Victory Investments wrap from Dallas. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, something Dallas card show themed for sure. Check out Victory Investments on Instagram, guys, if you haven't yet. Hockey card investor says, as soon as you wrap, the auction will wrap. Yeah, could be. So, guys, I just want to listen. We'll take one more run through the auctions, but before we do, I just want to run a few sort of banners by all of you guys. So if you're new to the channel, thank you for joining. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Here all on the Twitter, on the ticker right now, this is me on my social media platforms. You can, if you are interested to, please give me follows on Instagram, Twitter. For this show, we have a Facebook group simply called Sports Cards Live. Feel free to join the Facebook group. I will admit you through. It'll ask you for like who you know or some reference or something. Just put my name. That's fine. And if you're on Clubhouse, give me a follow on Clubhouse and we can hang out on there. We'll maybe be going on there after the episode. Upcoming episodes of Sports Cards Live, guys. This Saturday, Jeff Morris, former executive with Pinnacle and also with Pacific Trading Cards, among other things. And June 5th, Nat Turner will be sitting right there where Adam is right now, joining me. So be sure to tune in. And we are booked through the end of July for the most part at this point. Give my boys at the Big Three Hockey on Instagram a follow. The virtual Sport Card Expo will be June 19th and 20th. Online, go to sportcardexpo.com. Registration to attend is free. I will be set up with a booth. Basically, we'll be live streaming for 2 days straight. So please check out the virtual expo. And Adam's magazine is called The Basketball Card Fanatic. Digital copies, but also now available in print. Reach out to Adam on Instagram. Reach out to... He is at the Real 27 Guy. This is his Instagram handle, at the Real 27 Guy. If you're not yet following him, give Adam a follow. Follow the magazine on Instagram as well, at Basketball Card Fanatic. Reach out to Adam. Give him a subscribe to the magazine. It is a wonderful addition to the hobby content landscape. that's what I got for sort of shout outs and all that. Okay. Back to the auctions, guys. Let's take one more run through, see if we see any changes. If not, we are going to wrap up this show because we are going 3.5 hours, and that is quite some time. We'll go by highest price and just see if anything else jumps out at us. Otherwise, we're going to wrap, and thanks everybody for joining. This has been fun. The LeBron limited logos is still the leader at 400,000. The Jordan PSA 10 with the PWCC above average is at 380. I love that Steph at 360, the NT. Here's the Kobe Bryant credentials at 300. The Tom Brady contenders rookie ticket auto, 260. This PSA 10 Charizard has not budged off at 200. The Gretzky PSA 9 Opeachy at 180. We've talked about Kobe's, the Top Sun Charizard at 160. The Jackie PSA 7 at 140. And it even gets the above average designation. The Kobe NBA logo man 140 hasn't moved. The dual here, Adam, hasn't moved since you noticed it a couple hours ago already. Not much movement in the last little bit, but this thing could go for hours still. It could literally go for hours, and there could be a lot more bids. Just people could be waiting in the bushes until there's no more bids on anything, and then a lot of these cards could get one more bid at least, if not more. It just depends how late people are going to stay up and watch this thing. So I'll do a quick scroll through here. This is page 2 of 6. There's what I think is the nicest Charizard in the auction, $70,000. If you are eligible to bid, if you're an extended bidder, give that a hit. I think that's a great buy at that price. Love the Kobe PMG Red Authentic Altered for $65,000. Jordan BGS 9.5 is holding tight at $55,000, and one of my favorite cars in the auction, the Tom Brady Flawless at $65,000. Page 3. Lots of nice vintage here. The Topps Gretzky at 55, bunch of $55,000 cards here, including the Mays rookie and the Aaron rookie, both PSA 7, PSA 8. Let's go a bit quicker now as we get to some of the cards that are in that under $50,000 level. There's the PSA 6 Jackie at 45. Bunch of Kobe's. Lots of Kobe in this auction. Hey, Adam?
Yep, lots of Kobe. Lots of LeBron, too.
Yeah, true enough. A nice PSA 10 SP Authentic Tiger Woods rookie at 37.5. Topps Chrome Steph Curry 37.5. There's this card, the card that Slabstocks was watching out of 5, the BGS 10 at 37.5. I'm not going to be able to remember all these prices to compare to what they actually sell for, but it's going to be interesting to log in tomorrow and see what everything actually did. Very interesting. All right, we'll run through these last 2 pages. If anything catches our eye, the Giannis PMG Green 32.5. The Ted Williams auto on the 39 play ball rookie at 32.5. We have the Blue Ice Luca out of 99, 30 grand, healthy. This is a great looking card, the Kobe Exquisite patch auto out of 100 for 30 grand. This card here, the autographics, LeBron out of 25, great card. The one I would be buying if I was eligible for extended, I'd buy this. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and reset. It's got to reset. It's going to reset. Yeah. 5 seconds in. 5 seconds in. That's fun. PSA, SGC 10. Sorry, go ahead, please.
If you're a serious bidder and you're hoping to pay as little as possible, the smartest thing to do is to do exactly what somebody's done right in this last half an hour, which is to wait till the very last second and then to go put in your bid. It's going to cost you a night's sleep probably, but you're going to get your card for cheaper that way. Whereas some people are going to just go put in their big bid and then they're going to go to bed, and there's nothing wrong with that. And maybe that'll work out for them too. But you avoid all those people who've gone to bed by waiting and by trying to create this battle of attrition that's currently happening. And so, there's a chance, Jeremy, we wake up tomorrow and this thing's still happening. But I don't think so. I think
I doubt it. I think it'll end it. I think versus that, I think it would end like 3 a.m. kind of in there. That's where these things often end.
Yeah.
But by these things, I mean, other off eBay auction house auctions. But this card surprises me. Rookie. Oh, it's optic though. It's not prism. So that's something. But still, a gold, even though it's the fast break, it's still a gold out of 10 rookie year card, Luka. 15,000. Like, wouldn't the Prism Gold be like $1 million?
The last Prism Gold was a Gem 10, and it sold for 600,000.
600,000, and this is 15. This is 15 grand.
Granted, that wasn't like a fast break. That was just the straight up Prism.
What does fast break even mean? Is that a different distribution method?
Yeah, so fast break is like a whole different product, and so like those little bubbles in the background tell you that it's fast break. Fun fact on this card is this card, the ultimate variation of this card is the Superfractor, and I had the Superfractor in my hand. In fact, I took a picture of it at the very last national, the one that you and I met at. And I sat there and thought about it, and then I went and did some other things, and then after I left, I told a friend to go back and grab it for me, and it had sold. So I was that close, like 15 minutes away from buying the Lucas Superfractor from Optic, which is an incredible card, and
crazy.
Would have been my most, probably maybe my most valuable card if I would have just made up my mind half an hour earlier.
Crazy, man. Good story. It was great seeing you at that National 2019. I do hope to get to the one this year. I'm going to be there as long as there's no reason that like no legal or pandemic reason that I can't. Okay, but that, yeah, we're gonna Doug, a couple last comments, guys. We're gonna sign off in like the next minute. If you have final comments, throw them at us. Otherwise, we're gonna end this thing. But I thank everybody for joining. Doug Brenner says can confirm the Topsun Charizard was a pop 1 when it last sold for 500. It's now a pop 2. And Doctor says that doesn't come out of 3x drop in price, in my opinion. Yeah, well, but it might, Doctor. It might. If that's what the bidders say, then it does, right? How do you argue that? Except for the fact that maybe not everybody is aware that this card is being sold right now. See you June 5th, Hockey Card Investor. Sounds good. Thank you, Kyle Brown. Great to have you. Glad you enjoyed it, especially if you stuck around with us for the whole 3.5 hours plus.
Thanks, Kyle.
Adam. Okay, guys, we're going to take off the screen. Adam, thanks to you. Latrell Sprewell, thank you very much. Loves the Real 27 guy. How can you not? Okay, that's it. Thank you for joining us for the Sports Cards Live inaugural PWCC Premier Auction Ending Watch Party. We didn't see it end, but we got to see a lot of the action. Glad you were here. Thank you, Doug Brenner. Great to have you. Thank you, Bobby Burrell, as always, for joining. Good night, everybody. Adam, hang tight 1 minute. Everybody else, good night. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you on Saturday. Have a great Friday tomorrow.